as I travel this life alone. Two paths both unknown, for what already has this life shown. The first step I diverged from normalcy, no paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. A road less traveled, dark and cold, I came upon a fork in the road. I pondered, both mind free. The fall had come, for yellow is the autumn tree. Both I long to travel, for I'm but one. I could not see, for both were bent, the overgrowth and canopy. Where will destiny lead me? The first step I diverged from normalcy, no paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. I began my journey on the road less traveled. Regret haunts me at times, looking back wondering where the other path myself would find. But both paths are traveled equally, for many take the zombie road to normalcy, and others seek individuality. From the wear on the trail it appears 50-50. With every footstep came pitfalls and risks, rewards and opportunities. Looking back, what did I really miss? The first step I diverged from normalcy, no paper cut out life for me. I did it my way, not much more to say. Overflowing elation, ready for war.
my best, exiled to faraway lands, shape-shifting into what is more fitting. The seas could not take me, war could not break me to feel so alive, overflowing elation, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war, ready for war. I see the barren beam, eye to eye, we become one, proudly in hunting, devouring you. I am the bear king.
This pain of coming back to life, I feel everything, everything. When I open my eyes, your face, I'll never forget. Your horror, my pain, I'm alive, living again. I feel every stitch and every scar. Father, what's my purpose? Abandoned, left for dead, a monster. Why have you forsaken me? Accept me as I am. Like a god, do you feel like a god, creating without thinking, no pros, no cons? You let me walk, you let me see, you let me feel. I found her, but she did not know me. I reached for her, but she recoiled in horror. I wanted to beg anything for her love, the look on her face. I want out of this place. Father, what's my purpose? Abandoned, left for dead, a monster. Why have you forsaken me? Accept me as I am. It doesn't matter, it can't matter no more. I'm incomplete, I'm missing me. The world is darker than I remember. I wanna love her, but this heart is not mine. I wanna touch her, but these hands are not mine. I wanna tell her I love her, but this voice is not mine. Looking into her eyes, I saw how love dies. Now that's where her body lies. Father, what's my purpose? Abandoned, left for dead, a monster. Why have you forsaken me? Accept me as I am. Revenge shall be mine, I'll catch you in time. You gave me the pain of coming back to life. I want
Father, what's my purpose? Abandoned, left for dead, a monster. Why have you forsaken me? Accept me as I am, as I am. What's my purpose? Favor the wave, reaching a dismal height. A new cycle has begun, the collapse of kingdoms, a new world rising, politics colliding. The truth becoming a stranger, the mouth of a new era opening wider. Ceremony of innocence swallowed. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy, a warning. Imagination, a symbolic revelation, a vision of darkness, a creature born from the chaos, a collective consciousness, brutal and godless. Prophecy, prophecy, the second coming, a prophecy.
Oh, man. All right, folks. Welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner. This is PRT. Join us in the real reality. You know how it goes. Mm-hmm. So I got something funny to tell you guys. I haven't even told you about it yet. I didn't even tell Nelly yet. So I got an email, right? What's that on Messenger? It's a mess, whatever. And I got this message from obviously not a real. It's not a real person. I can tell. It's like, I mean, well, it's a. Let's put it this way. It's not a bot. Like somebody sent it, but it's not a legitimate person. So they give me this. So I get. This is what I gather from it, and I think that the ops. You all right?
Yeah, it just shocked me.
It shocked you?
Yeah.
Damn. Make sure I'm not getting shocked. Okay.
Got Darryl's in here messing with me.
Who?
Darryl's.
Darrows. The Darrows. The Taros and the Darrows.
Mm-hmm.
So what's crazy is like, okay, so I get this message. Let me bring Richard on. He's on here. He's there. say what's up to Daryl, the Darrow from within the earth. And if anybody doesn't know what the Darrow are, the Tarot and the Darrow, the late Britton Solomon claims to have had an encounter with a Darrow. They are these creatures from within the earth, or inner earth being. Let's put it that way. Let's bring Richard on. What's going on, man?
Good evening, Mr. Darrow here.
Mr. Darrow. Yeah, Tarot is the good ones. The Darrows are the bad ones.
Oh,
So, yeah, it's funny because now let me start with this, and then I got to tell you something funny, Richard. So,
all right.
So I end up getting an email. It was a heartfelt email, right? This person's like, "I watch your show. I really do like you. I'm not even gonna lie. I watch your show very religiously. I've been going back and rewatching and blah blah blah. You know, and I'm going like, okay, yeah, this person's a big fan, right? You get those kind of messages quite a bit, you know, not to that extent, but you know, you get them. And then this person says, "I just want to give you some advice with all the things that are happening to you and Nellie." And all of your people, I think you should just step down and back away from the show, and no one's going to be angry with you. Just leave the community and close that door and walk away and leave it all behind. You will be so much happier with your life. God has shown me this. You need to just walk away, and for your own good, your own health. You know, no one's going to be angry, and these people that are attacking you, they're just going to go away because if you leave, blah blah blah. You know, and I'm like, okay. And I'm talking like it was like this long, right? And so they come up with this goofy name. It was like, you know, some weird name, Edward Scissorhands or some bull. I don't know. That's not what it was, but it was what they say. What they call themselves? Let me see if I can find it real quick. So stupid. Here it is. Matthew Shearer. I don't know if that's a real person. Shearer, like, you know, I guess because that's what made me think about the scissors, because it's shearing or whatever. And
I know what tribe he belongs to.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, so this is their attempt to get me to leave the field. After these buttery comments telling me that I should do this for my own good and that it's only for the best, and then they go into, because these people can't help themselves, right? So they go into this whole, and I'm only saying this because I care about you, you know, whatever. They'll be like, but on the other hand, if you decide to stay, that these attacks are probably going to continue, and I got to say, it's going to get worse for you. You know, it's obvious to me that there are two sides of this story, and that you have done things to these people who they are not going to forgive you for.
Wow.
Right. And then they said, the best thing you could do is just offer a heartfelt apology to all of these individuals you have wronged.
Great advice.
Yeah. And then step away, and your life will be fulfilled and blessed.
Thanks, Maddie.
Maddie?
No, Matty. Matty.
Oh,
not
he said,
Maddie.
oh, Matt. I was like,
No,
Maddie.
no. Sorry. Like Maddykins.
I find out Maddie's over there on the computer telling me to retire.
No. Sorry. Should have said thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. So this is what they told me. They said, you know, and it was like one of those, you know, accounts that was just made a few days ago.
Yeah,
has like 16 friends
every time.
And I'm like, wow. I was like, gee, this is crazy. Then I go back and the account's like gone. It's unplugged. There's not even a
amazing.
So somebody from their camp, or somebody who's dumb enough to watch them and be in their camp and likes them, which there's, I think we've counted 22 people that really actually like them. Pretty much all of them are unhinged. Yeah, exactly, Jessica. Bring back the asylums, man.
Yeah.
So there was more to it too. There was more stuff like, you know, they were like this. They were saying something about, obviously you guys, you and your allies are really overmatched. And then they pointed out, they were like, and you're really wasting your time defending all these other channels and people that don't care about you, and they're not going to help you, you know, and you're standing alone, and you know, basically telling me that, you know, it's pointless to keep fighting because, you know, we're beaten, so we should just walk away.
Amazing.
Sounds kind of desperate.
I mean, geez, Louise, these people, dude.
Sally Poo Cup would have gotten 30 days in the asylum just for doing that 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh, dude. I watched some of Abe's show last night with the he was going off about the Poo Cup girl, and I'm going to tell you this right here on the air. This woman at the conference, my hand to the Bible, she was sitting on women's laps and groping women and men, and this is what she did, and she did it to my wife too. She did it to multiple people. Right, many people she did that to, and big titty Clef was over there like, you gotta do something, stop it. They're over here trying to do swinging and stuff like that. So when I went over there to talk to the guy, her husband, he didn't seem like a terrible guy. He just seemed like he was kind of loose morals. That's my opinion, but he was crying. He cried. He literally cried and told me, you don't know what it's like living with her. What's going to happen if I don't do it? Really seems like he has to rein her in, and that she's a menace, dude, and that he has to. So when it came out that she was the one that pooped in the cup, it wasn't a big shock to me.
No.
You know, she was like,
Is it?
like she admitted she did it on their show. I'm like, yeah, obviously, because she don't care. Like she's twisted, dude. I mean, so. When Abe showed those pictures last night, I was working. We were working last night. I was having to do a fire watch. But I was on patrol at the beginning of it. I couldn't watch it till later. So I looked at the replay of the dude. There were faces.
No.
Literally faces on
One
that
of them
picture.
looked like one of those
her
African masks.
Yeah, it was between her and Barton. There was faces. So talking to her, and between the crying and the screaming and the anger and her acting out at my conference, which I wish they had never showed up at my conference.
I'll bet.
I like what Amy Creel said. That woman put Garantano on top of her on their bed. I was so embarrassed for him.
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird because I've watched that footage at least 300 or 400 times?
Which one?
Never mind.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, now you're messing
You
around.
missed that joke.
Well, this is what Barbara Roderick got from us. Check it out. That's part of her swag bag
yeah.
there.
Oh, nice.
So, and look at the copper. That copper.
It's beautiful.
That does look awesome.
Did we send you one, Dick?
No, not yet, brother.
Okay, I did. Dude, give me your information. Even though it's Canada and it'll cost me an arm and a leg, I'll do it for you.
I appreciate you.
Because it's you, I'll do it.
Oh, you're awesome.
And because according to Mike, I brutally attacked you
Yes.
last week when
Yeah,
we disagreed.
Yeah, Maddie showed me that, and it's like we were having a bit of a debate. We weren't having an argument. We weren't like, I don't know what they hear and what is actually said, like where the disconnect lies. I guess it's when it goes in their ears and gets processed in their brains.
Mm-hmm.
That because they have such low IQ that they can't actually realize what's happening in the real world.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
They don't live in the real reality with us, you know.
Yeah, no kidding.
So instead of 2 girls, 1 cup, it was 1 tramp, 1 trunk, 1 tumbler.
Amazing.
You know, I actually do feel sorry for her husband. You know, and it got kind of heated between me and him.
Yeah.
Because I had to tell him, you need to rein her in because she's doing things. She sat on Bettina's lap. She did it to Nelly. She did it to a bunch of people. And these people did, you know, and the people that were there, they weren't wanting to deal with her.
I'll bet.
And she tried to pull her shit with me too. And I was just like, nah, this ain't happening, you know. But, you know, she pretty much did it to everybody that was there. She was doing it to everybody. They were trying to find people that were going to go along with their weird whatever. And that's unfortunate they did that at my conference. But if we uncovered some things. You go back and you look. There's an account tied to her and one of her family members, and it goes back like they've been since that conference. They've been hanging out with the chicken people up in Oklahoma for a while. So it's all coming out, folks. They always say it's all coming out. There ain't nothing coming out from them. They're just producing lies or just retread stuff. They're trying to make videos about, you know, and it's whatever, you know, they can do and say all kinds of crap. Doesn't make it true. But here we are dealing with it. And so while my wife was in the hospital, they were on the attack. Last night while we were talking, they were making threats. And here, I'm going to show you something while we're waiting to get the chat filled up here. Just to show you my point. I don't know if you saw this one, Richard. This one was pretty hilarious. But I'm just going to start pointing out their little shenanigans here, and it's going to. So Barton, who everybody at this point already knows, is a very, very unhinged man, in my opinion. That's what he is. He goes over there on the video that I made while Nellie was in the hospital, and he goes on the attack, making these ridiculous long posts saying
read it
Attacking
tonight.
the paratroopers.
attacking paratroopers, attacking everybody. And so here is what one of them did. I have a mole right here on my neck. It's somewhere. This is what they did. They circled the mole and said that is proof that he has skin tags too. No, I don't. My body is skin tagless, man. I don't have skin tags. So they go and they circled it to try to show, how your body changes from day to day too. People, that's something that's lost on them is science. They don't understand that. And yeah, I'll be honest, man. That day I hadn't slept, and I felt like crap. Today I did my legs before I came in, so I'm pumped, But
They're scientists
dude,
with
like-
Dr. Pepper.
so, some days you're just not looking as good as others. I mean, you retain water, you have, and
Yep.
in times of high stress, when your body is under stress, that's one of the things it does, and you feel like all, and you could literally, and this is true, you can lose 3 to 4 pounds over a day.
Yep.
That's why whenever you weigh yourself, if you're dieting and you're not lifting weights, and lifting weights will make you bigger, you'll be heavier because muscle weighs a lot more than fat. But if you are dieting, one of the things you need to do, people get discouraged. They'll weigh themselves at the end of the day. And I will tell people that is a no-no because you might be even 4 to 5 pounds heavier.
Yep.
And then once you go to sleep, you wake up and your body processes everything. Once you've used the restroom and done whatever and got yourself together, then you go and step on that scale, and that is what you weigh. Then you start your day. So you do it at the beginning. Whenever your day starts, you start that. That's how you weigh yourself. You don't want to weigh yourself because then you're going to become discouraged. You're going to be like, I'm not losing weight. And my friend was doing that. She was doing that constantly, and she was calling me, and saying, I'm gaining weight. She kept telling me that. It was my friend, chiropractor, name's Heather. And I told her, and I've talked about her before on the show, and she used to have a show called a business called Amazing Relief Chiropractor for like 20 years. They've made it so hard in this country to have a small business that she just gave up the business after 22 years?
Yep.
Wow.
22 years, and she gave the business up, and now is just working, for another chiropractor, and is actually making more than she was paying herself.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. And she had a lot of clients, a lot of them, and most of them followed her to where she's at now. It's a shame, especially when this is a person I grew up with. But she was on a diet a few years ago, and she kept calling me and Nellie and telling us, I'm not losing weight. She was panicking, and I said, when are you weighing yourself? Well, before I go to bed. You need to wake up and do it. She's like, well, I do that too, but then I'm gaining weight at the end of the night, and then I'll lose it, and then I gain it. And I said, that's not an accurate way to do it, because when you're under a lot of stress, the worst time to try to look at yourself is you've been up for 22 hours and your wife is in the hospital. I looked rough in that video. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like crap. I looked like crap. So I wake up today and I'm a couple pounds lighter, and I go do my workout. Before, on an empty stomach, I did my workout and did everything, and then I ate right before I got on the show. So you look better, you feel better, you're just doing better, And so these people, they want to believe something about me that's not true. They want to believe that I have these fat rolls that I got to lift up fat rolls to take a shower and all this other crap.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable the stuff that they come up with. They can't come up with anything else. I mean, so they just make up stories, and then they circle little minutia type stuff, and then they came up with one that you and I were fighting. We were And then some of them, one of them, somebody, I don't know which one, I don't know who, but somebody made that stupid Facebook thing, yeah, you should just walk away and give up. You've done your best. Let's just leave the community.
Unbelievable.
So now they're resorting to asking nicely.
Yeah.
Too late for that.
So don't know who that is, but I'm assuming it's them or somebody that's probably somebody that watches their crap or does, has something to do with those people. But this is every day with these people.
Wasn't there a Matt Shearer in the chat a while ago?
What was there? What now?
Wasn't there a guy named Matt Shearer that used to be in the chat all the time?
I don't remember a Matt. It might be. But then again, it's like they copy people's names.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll take somebody's name from the chat or somebody just and then they'll say something and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Then you talk to that person and they'll be like, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Like it's pretty obvious. But tomorrow we have another meeting. We have a Zoom meeting. So hopefully we'll just I'm trying to get this expedited because I am so pumped, so stoked about what's coming. I can't tell you how happy I am with what's about to be unleashed.
Glad to hear that.
Because the end has to come at some point, And one of the things, my friend, he's in the music industry. He's a producer. And he produces, well, it's not important. I'm not going to talk too much about him, but I know he doesn't want to be involved in any of this crap. He didn't tell me that, but I'm assuming I'm trying to be a good friend. But one of the things that he said you need to make an example. And he said that so for the future you can grow, and anybody that comes along that wants to mess with you and wants to start all this kind of crap, that they're going to have to know that there's going to be retaliation. There's going to be consequences. Yeah. They're not going to be allowed to just do and say whatever they want. And I want to say that to anybody out there who's a potential podcaster or YouTuber or author, don't let people bully you. Because that's what these people are. They're bullies. They're going around saying we're bullying them, but it's pretty obvious who's doing what. If you're not in PRT News, go join PRT News on Facebook and go get the download. Go look and see what they do every day. They do things. They say things. And it's every day, like every day. There's not a day off. At least one or two of them are doing something every day. And to me, I wouldn't say mass because there's not a whole lot of them, but it's a psychosis with this handful of people. They have a psychosis.
Oh, it's demonic obsession.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so that's what we're going to have to do. Just going forward, we're going to have to always be vigilant. And, when people mess with you, my friend told me he had to do that, that some of the people that he deals with in the music industry, he's just like, you have to make sure that they know. There's going to be consequences to doing this. And if you develop a reputation for defending yourself, I know that one of the people, Ike, up in Oklahoma, he stole a video of some people about Bigfoot. That's what he did. And then he passed it off as his own and he got caught up in it. That was a couple months ago or something. But from what I hear, those people are pretty big about suing people. So it's kind of waiting to see if they would. I don't know if they're going to or not, but I hope they do because the more people, the better. If everybody's suing this guy, it's not going to look good for him because he's got so many enemies. They're always trying to blow up this, everybody hates him. He's got all these enemies. No, I don't. I got a handful of psychopaths and a few of their sycophants. That's it. That guy's got a ton of enemies because he goes around attacking people. What's even worse is he actually attacks his own friends. He was using that John Smith account to attack old Barton, calling him a worshiper of Baphomet. And it's absolutely, and I wonder what his reaction is going to be when it's proven that is them that did it. Will that make him stop and change? No, I don't think so. Because he's determined to fight with me. Because the reason that he's fighting with me, it's not because he believes that, this is my opinion, it's not because he believes that I am this guy, the hammer or whatever. I don't think he really believes it because he may have been behind it for all I know. But when they tell you absolute bullshit lies and you run with it, like I don't know where he got this Pinkerton thing from. He keeps talking about that. Like people are coming for him or something. I don't know what he's talking about. But people pray for you when you're in the hospital and you get out and they wind him up, and I'm sure it was Larry and Mike my opinion, told him all kinds of craziness. Then what does he do? He comes out and he starts attacking and going off on us again and starts this all back up. Nobody had said anything about this guy. And for some reason, he just felt a need to come back and attack. And then he keeps telling his people that he's being attacked for 2 years. Well, the thing between me and him has only been going on for a little over a year and a couple months. And he's the main antagonist. So what are you talking about? Like, these people can't tell time or something. But when he was in the hospital, and then I reached out to Daryl Denton and tried to tell him, hey, I want to talk to him. Maybe we can talk, because I wanted to point out to him, like, look at the timeline, dude. Look at what they did. If there was any chance that you could reason with the guy and say, look, and so I want to show that absolutely, in public and in private, I went through every channel I could to try to resolve this with peace. But this man didn't want peace. He did not. He had a burning anger, hatred for me, and it was jealousy, 100% jealousy. I don't care what he says. And Anthony, tell the people what you think happened during the book thing, what you saw, what you believe set this in motion way before anything.
Well, I think that it was a mistake on our part, which I mean, we meant well, but by inviting him down here, him and Letitia, putting him up in a hotel, and showing him a good time, showing him around Austin, paying for everything, and showing them like, hey, we work together, we're successful. This is, these are the fruits of our labor, and we're sharing them with you, because that he saw what we had and he wanted it for himself. He became really, really envious, and it was apparent immediately as soon as they got back home, that they started complaining to our mutual friend, that
to the people that were house sitting.
Yeah, that we didn't pay their taxes. Like, how was that right? Like, you're not entitled to the fruits of our labor, and we gave him advice after advice after advice on how to be successful in different things he was trying to do, and all he wanted to do was complain that he had nothing, and look at what you have, look what I have, brother. That's it.
Yeah,
just always pissing in your ear, complaining.
Well, and he complained about other people incessantly, like Blonza Booze and Hellbent Holler.
He was especially jealous of Hellbent Holler.
Yeah, he hated Jesse bad. I mean, and I never said anything. I didn't tell any of those people the things he was saying. I just, when he would start on it, I would listen for a couple of minutes and try to be nice about it. And then I would eventually be like, okay, dude, and so for Larry to sit up there and go like, oh, Wolf was having fights with all these people. No, I wasn't. Your buddy was having more problems with people. I wasn't having problems with those people. You were. Moron. And so trying to talk to people like that is just a drain. It's a psychological and mental drain. You can't get them to listen or to do right. And so one of the problems that I had, what is it, 279?
He's got a big ego that I noticed, like,
yeah,
especially
during the book.
Yeah, like once you were going back and forth with him, like dictating what you wanted in the book, and he was just transcribing. He kept trying to take all these liberties, and you kept having to tell him, no, that this is not your book. This is my material. I want it written this way specifically. We need to make these changes. And he got mad. Like I heard it in his voice. He would get frustrated and upset, and you had to tell him, like, more than once, like you had to check him basically, like, Barton, we're not going to do that. We're doing it this way. This is how I want it done. This is my book. You're just transcribing what I'm telling you. That's it.
He took too many liberties.
Yeah.
And then, he also, one of the things he did, he wanted to name it the Bigfoot phenomenon, which is like plural. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And we went at each other about that. And then he goes on his Facebook and says, just for the record, phenomena is for plural. Like, he took a swipe at me. And so I knew that it was coming. And him and, oh, brother Larry are so close. Well, now they're going to be really close. They're going to be real close. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all can be super duper close. We're going to make sure of it. Okay. So that's what's happening. That's all I'm going to say right there. The facts are the facts. And, you know, y'all can circle my mole and say it's a skin tag. It's not, because I'm not Mike, okay? And I'm not a disgusting individual who doesn't bathe, because I don't have the energy to bathe, according to them, and I have to lift up fat rolls, according to them. What they don't understand is somebody who can be large and not be a lard ass. They think that all big people have to be some kind of big fat person. But that's
Maybe if he didn't spend $20,000 a year on Coca-Cola, he could pay his own taxes.
Yeah, and they're going to be close through the justice system. So they'll be very close. They will be. I can't wait. I am just chomping at the bit.
Maybe they could be cellmates.
Who knows? I mean, it depends.
Could you imagine what would happen to those two on range?
Oh, dude.
I know, right?
The Pinkertons were known for protecting express companies and railroads, moving valuables across the country, leading to his work against train robbers, for what I can find. So I don't know what the Pinkertons have to do with this. I don't know if one of these goofy cartoon characters told him that we were talking about that, or I don't know, because he comes up with some stuff that I don't know if he comes up with it, because he has a vivid imagination. He really does, you know. So I don't know if he's coming up with it, or if that other crazy the lying roofer's coming up with it, or which one's coming up with it. It doesn't matter. They can explain it all in the coming months, you know, when it all happens. And he thinks he's got something for me if we go to court. No, you don't. Believe me, you don't. We have our ducks in a row. It's all been timeline, everything. The day that you popped off and attacked me, folks, these people attacked me. They attacked us. You know, they had a plan. It didn't work out. One of their biggest gripes, too, was that I didn't spend enough time talking to them. You know, that's one of the things they kept complaining about to Nellie. They complained about it to everybody in the community. They complained about it to each other. They complained about it to Maddie, that I didn't have time. I don't have enough hours in the day to scratch my head. Why the hell would I spend my time talking to people who all they do is bitch? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to. I got my own issues, you know, and I got to get the encounters, and I got to get people's encounters and do what I got to do.
Would they expect you to spend 2 hours a day on the phone with them, like a freaking girlfriend or something?
That's what I'm wondering, because
that's weird, dude.
That was their biggest complaint, Richard. That was their biggest gripe. When Clough got on the phone with Abe and was crying, he was literally crying, according to Abe. And I believe it, because he did the same thing to 3 other people. What's crazy, too, is how they throw each other under the bus. The guy that was their friend from Germany had told me that Clough was crying. He's like, well, I don't know. He was crying. And I'm like, what the freaking? And then he was crying to this other guy, you know. And you're just like, they're crying. Like, what are you, like, what is this? The crying game. Like, and I know right now, as I speak, there's probably people, they're probably over there typing and posting, and because I'm their life. They watch this, and then they run and they do whatever. So just know this, Barton, you are, I'm going to say this, in my opinion, folks, he is a horrible writer. He's a hack. You're a hack. You made a boilerplate book, but he fooled me into believing that it was his work, which I know now it's not. I don't believe it is. In my opinion, it's not. And several people pointed it out to me, and I should have listened. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, I believe that he is not who he says he is. He's not a good person. He pretends to be this holy Christian, but he won't even cop to the fact that he smokes pot. There were about 20 people at the first, and probably at the second, 20, probably 30 people that saw him smoking pot at the conferences. Why are you pretending like you don't do that? That's what you do. I think you do it so much that it makes you see saber-toothed tigers. And of course, the link is there. There's a link there. You can come on the show right now, Farton. I know you're a little beady-eyed coward. In my opinion, folks, he's a coward. How many people in the chat would love to see one of these cockroaches come on the show? I will be as sweet as pie. I'll give you a cavity. I'll be so sweet. I
would like to see it. I don't know why they don't just come on and put everything out in the air with you.
Come on, let's go. Come on the show, and as long as you're not cussing, screaming, and ranting and raving, brother, then come on the show and say what you have to say. Come on, Farton, you little beady-eyed coward. I'm calling you out right now. I'm calling out Ike. Ike is the chickenest, shittest. He's the scarediest one. He is really this. He's scarier than Clough. Clough might have a little bit of balls. I would see Clough on here before Mike would. Ike, you are a coward. You are the chickenest, shittedest little coward ever. I'm all alone in the woods, and his nephew pops up in the back. You are a coward.
I love confronting my enemies.
I do too. I do. Hello, hello, hello. Who's out there? Mommy, no. I'm a Christian. Come on, Ike. Come on. You know what? I'll make you. I'll make you a deal. If you come on the show, I'll give you $500, folks. If you guys help me out here, donate some money, and we will. If they don't show up, right? If they don't show up, whoever donates, I'll give you a free T-shirt or something. $20. Let's put the money together. I'll match it. Whatever they put on there, I'll give it to you. Bring your ass on and stay on here. Don't run off after you say some stupid shit. Get your ass up here.
I'll go and chat and donate.
Hell yeah, let's do it. But don't donate yet, just for that. Wait till they come on. Once they come on, we will donate, and whatever is donated while you're on is yours to keep. I will PayPal you, email you. What is it? Cash App,
Zelle.
Venmo, Zelle, whatever. I'll give it to you. Get your ass up here. Come on, let's do this. Paula King, look at Paula King. She's ready. She already to $20. Like, that's $20 right there. Come on. And I will let you speak. Name all of the sins and all of the horribleness that I have done to you. And you have your turn, and then I'll have my turn. That's what you're scared of right there. You are afraid because all of your lies and your nonsense will be refuted. Stop posting that I'm a coward and that I'm afraid of you and that I'm some big fat guy with skin tags. You want to see my neck? Look at it. Do you see it? You see my neck? Does it look like I have skin tags? I don't. And I can get up out of this chair real fast, too. You know better than to show your ass over here. Trust me. Chicken shit. Y'all are chicken. Chicken, beep, beep, chickens. That's what you are. You're a pack of hens. You're a pack of hens. You're scared. You're so scared. You're very scared.
The link is right there. All you got to do is click on it. We know you're watching.
Folks, I would bring all of them on together, every one of them, and I'll fight by myself. Anthony, go in the other room. I don't give a crap. Bring all of it, 10 of you. Bring your demon ass on. And I will stomp each and every one of you on here. Every one of you on my show. I will sit here and stomp off all your lies. Every bit of your lies will be stomped out like fire. Where are they at? Look, the petty people, as Johan says. Come on. Let's go, petty people. Let's go, petty people. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Where are they at? Yeah, let's get the doll, Joel. Joel, make a Joel's Jewish. Joel, make a golem for them. Let's make a golem. Like, show us on the golem where they hurt me. Like, Meshuggah. Get on it. Amazing. Come on, let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's do this.
Show me on the golem where the bad man touched you.
Where the Nazi touched you. Let's go. Bring it on. Come on, farting. I know you're stalking me, your goofy old ass. You don't work with your little goofy ass.
I ain't scared of nothing, brother, except confronting you virtually.
Brother, I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm not afraid of nothing, brother. Let me tell you something, brother.
He fights Sasquatch with a sword, man. He's like the most hardcore guy you know.
Think about this. He had an encounter with the Bigfoot, Spotsville, whatever. I don't know whether he did or not. I don't really give a shit. It's interesting, though, because Scorpion made a post today. And, yeah. Where are your family members in all of this? Like the person that I was with and his family, they're not hiding. They said they went and looked at the ditch. Why didn't you talk to his family? They're right there. Go talk to them. My friend's a preacher in my hometown. And, in fact, he was at your
my brother's graduation.
And he told my wife exactly what happened, word for word. It pretty much matches up from his perspective. Same thing happened to me. He's a childhood friend. We're still very close. We're still good friends to this day. Every Christmas, I'll be seeing him next month to get tamales. And I'll take him some this year we're giving away the tomahawk
steaks,
yeah, the bone-in ribeyes or what's it called?
I thought you were going to say a cold steel tomahawk. I just bought one of those.
No. We're not giving away tomahawks. We're giving away tomahawk steaks. What are they called?
Second best.
Prime ribs. There we go. The bone-in prime rib is what we're giving away this year to our people.
Delicious.
People that work for us, family members, and of course, people that are less fortunate. That's what we do. We do it everywhere. Every. Come on, Barton. I know you need money to pay your taxes, man. At the minimum, you'll walk away with $500. $500 for your legal fees. How about that?
What's a case of 24 Coke cost in the States right now?
Probably $20. As stupid as people
He's
are.
probably hitting the bong, smoking up right now, and then he's gonna show up with sunglasses to hide his bloodshot eyes. I ain't afraid of you, brother. Oh, hang on, let me just hit the pipe real quick.
Oh, look at this! Look at this. He's already making a comment over there. He's making comments about me.
Make your comments over here, old man. You got 306 people who are just eagerly awaiting your arrival.
Josh at the buffet. This is the silly, goofy. Like you want everybody to see what you say. I'll read it too. I don't even know what this is. It says, remember this one, baby bear. See, being a latent homosexual, in my opinion, that's what they all are. They say gay things like that, baby bear. Like you would call somebody a baby bear if you're some kind of
what
gay.
the hell
guy.
is it?
What is that? These people.
It's gross.
That is some weird gayness, dude. I'm about to make him though be my profile pic because he's sporting that PRT shirt.
Uh-huh.
Let me show you all that real quick. It's going to be funny here. Oh wait, you know what? Here's a picture. There's a picture of me I just took a few days ago. Yeah, I'm a total lard ass there, as you can see. That's literally just me just taking a picture because they have the cameras over there at the work, so you can tap into the camera. Yeah. Does that picture right there? Do I look like I'm a lard ass that can't move around? Okay, whatever, dude. And and there's another one right there. At least I'm at work doing my job.
It's
they don't
funny
even have
you,
jobs.
Yeah, you quit your job to do YouTube, and then
I got a ton of photos on here, man. I don't post every freaking selfie I have. That's ridiculous. That's what women do, and it's okay. Women do that, but men doing it's a little weird. There's old Barton right there. Look at him. Doesn't he look good in that PRT shirt? The last time he looked like a decent person, except for with the weird swords and all of his. Take a look at that, folks. Look at that with the PRT. He was sporting it, boy. But then, alas, no tax paying, whatever. Then he had to turn. Yeah, that's.
Well, just crunch some numbers. Say it was $10 for a case of Coke a day. That's what? That's $3,600 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your weed on top of that. Say $40 worth of weed a day.
Yeah, he needs it. He needs all that. He's got a
$15,000 worth of weed.
Remember this, baby bear. Remember when you and the boys made this funny little gem of a very thinly disguised you wearing a hoodie with a troll filter and slandering me by name? Remember? Yes, this was 16 months ago. I want your lawyer to see this and all you paratards, as this is proof that you are the liar, the backstabber, the betrayer, the slanderer, not me. By the way, I seen it all of your famous celebrity friends way back then and warned them all about you. Any attempts to put your crybaby ass slobber and spin on this will only prove to them all that everything you've said about me is false and everything I say about you is true. It will show everyone the real Josh Turner, the lying, grifting con man. Oh, my goodness. Whatever will you do now? Oh, my. Gabe, what is that? Think of something quick. We need to do another show tonight. I'm only going to toy with you for so long, princess. This is another threat. Oh, and by the way, crikey, but your mean game is still weak. And who is this? This is what he says. That's me. Even if you distorted that picture, he says that's me on there, and that my beard doesn't even look anything like that. Like this guy it doesn't look anything like me. So whoever this was, he's saying that that's me. Whoever that is, I wish you'd come forward because that would totally bury his ass. This is your true face, Turter. Then this gay wizard, the English gay wizard, says, talking out of both sides of his mouth again. He says he's not homophobic, but hasn't stopped using gay-oriented insults. Nobody cares except for the gay wizard that he's hanging out. You hang out with these guys you're hanging out with. They're all
homophobic. Why would I be afraid of you?
Why would we be afraid of you, wizard?
Ain't nothing to be afraid of you,
projecting boy. Again, Chris. Turnabout is fair play. Kentucky here. Here's Christopher Clough. Hey, he doesn't even have a mean game. They're laughing my ass off. The dude is a massive bitch who relies on everyone else to do it for him. Laughing my ass off. Talk about a lazy bitch. His true nature is him being a little bitch. Even read this. He says he'll be couldn't stay with Nelly in the hospital. He told Anthony to do it. How pathetic. Yeah, okay, whatever.
They're
It says
completely
Jesse
obsessed.
admitted.
That's
Who's
crazy.
Jesse? Jesse admitted to making that video. Okay, so I guess
The picture's him.
who's Jesse?
Just like the guy who made that video that Barton said was you. Like,
But who is Jesse?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He
Well,
just
and-
commented saying, "Hey, that's me." Actually,
Where is it? What do you say?
no, on the text.
Oh, okay. Jesse Holland. Okay. So there it is. Jesse Holland, because I'm reading this as it's happening here. He said, "Oh my gosh, that's me. That's hilarious." He did come forward. The thing is, I don't do this crap. Yeah, I don't meme. I used to have a few memes. I did one a while back. That one was probably a few years ago. I did one, and it had nothing to do with anything. It was just a really heavy set woman who was like, "I would lift weights, but I don't want to get all big." And she was looking at the camera going, So I did do that one, but that was aimed at the gym, you know. So that's it. He thinks that's me. That's Jesse Holland that did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the mystery is solved, and now they're going to move on to something else because they got nothing else.
What the hell's taking them so long to show up? I thought they were going to destroy you with truth.
The truth, you're going to
We're
spank
going to
me.
destroy you with truth. Well, then we're all waiting.
No, they're going to spank me with the words.
Yeah.
I'm going to be spanked.
Well,
Did you know that, Richard? They're going to spank me.
Well, now's your chance. Put him
kinda
in his
gay.
place.
And if anybody wants to jump on and tell an encounter, you can do that. That's what we're here for. It's yeah, Paul, it definitely is. That's definitely what they're doing here. It is just yeah, I don't know. So he tries to say that's me doing that, but that's just so crazy. So let's move on. Anyway, I just thought it was funny and it'd be something to do. Well, we had somebody who came in, they jumped back out, but don't feel like this is the show here. We're just trying to kill some time, get some people in here. Shade, Brotherhood of the Weed.
Even for $500, they're still too afraid to just come on the show and talk some crap.
Yeah, if anybody has a way to go and tell this guy, tell all of them. They're all stalking us, watching us right now. Any one of you is free to come on. I don't care who you are. Come on and jump on.
We know you're awake because you don't work.
You don't work, so you're not. It's not like it's that late. It's 9:30. You know. So last night we missed the giveaway. We didn't do the giveaway last night.
What?
So yeah, we didn't do it. So last night. So we're going to do it tonight. So let's do the giveaway now while it's early.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make up for it because I don't want it to be 2 days without the giveaway. So what do we have? You want to go see what we have? Because I know we're missing some sizes there and we're waiting. We just got a shipment just got sent out. So we got about 30 shirts coming in, and then we have another. We ordered 175, so we had 30 coming in like in the next couple of days, and then there'll be another 50, and then it just comes in and But we're trying to get the money together so we can pay for these hoodies. The hoodies are $3,200.
Holy shit.
$3,200 with the hoodie. It's a lot. It's a lot of money, but we made some badass ones, dude. You're going to see. There's a pink one we made for the women, for the ladies, or if a man is inclined, to have one. But they're pink and they have like this, the logo with the black and red. It really it pops. So that one is cool. And then we got like this royal blue with the red. And then we have a Christmas one, but it can be worn all year long. It's just an Irish green with red and white, but it looks really good. It looks very Christmassy, but you can wear it all year long. And we're going to give those away in December.
My neighbor Chris showed up in a pink shirt one day, and I started laughing at him for wearing a pink shirt. And then he tried to say it was salmon, and then I asked him what color a salmon was. And he just put his head down and walked away.
So you put him on the spot for wearing pink. Well, now Geyer's going to have a problem with you because you're attacking. You're being homophobic. You need to stop. Stop doing that.
Face. Yeah. Okay. Guilty as charged.
Shade says that he wants a PRT mug. Shade, you're a moderator, so just message us through giveaways at prtpodcast.com. I'll put the banner on here. Let's see here. What do we got? Where is it at? There it is. So if you get something from the giveaway, just send a message and say, hey, we're giveaways at prtpodcast.com, and we'll give you something. So Shade, just message me and tell me what you want. If you want a mug, give me your shirt size. You want a shirt, whatever. You get what you want. So, yeah. And Dale says, I need a PRT hoodie that pops. Dale, I sent you one. I sent you a PRT hoodie. I've sent you a couple of them now. Those don't pop. Those aren't good. It wasn't even that long ago. It was a couple months ago.
Come on, Dale.
I guess he doesn't like the ones I send. Joanne says, I have a beautiful blue one. I like those blue ones. Those are the nice. Those are my favorite colors. Yours is pretty cool. The classic black.
I love this one.
What we did though, we came up with one that's black. It's a heather black. It looks really cool.
Means.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's like that one there, but
We still got a little bit of every size. Like we're not completely out of any size. So
no. So
Yeah.
Maddie was lying.
I mean, we're low on certain sizes, but like for a giveaway tonight, we'll have enough.
Is it hoodies or shirts?
Shirts.
Okay. Do we have hoodies?
Yeah, we got some. Not
What
a ton.
sizes?
I think we got like a little bit of everything too.
Okay. All right. So let's do that then. We're going to do a hoodie giveaway right now. Who wants a hoodie? Tell me you want a hoodie. Rhonda Ray, have you won? Somebody that hasn't won a hoodie already. Now, Rhonda, have you won a hoodie? Have you won before?
Just says no.
It says no. So you haven't won before, Rhonda? Okay. So what you need to do is send your information to giveaways at prtpodcast.com. Give us your size, okay? And make sure you specify, hey, I want a hoodie, okay? And then, what did it say? Never won it. You gave me them, bud. Okay. So Dale, so you do have a hoodie, all right? All right. So, but if you don't have one, you haven't won one before, let me know. And if you join the Patreon and you go on the $50 tier, you already get a hoodie. You're going to end up getting a shirt and a hoodie. That's what we're doing right now for the Patreon. $50 is a hoodie and a shirt. And a hat if supplies last. Because in December, we're going to do a deal where if you join the Patreon and you're on the $50 tier, you're going to get all three. So we're going to do that in December. Another thing I need to tell people, the show isn't going to happen tomorrow. We decided it was going to be weird doing it Tuesday and then Thursday the next week. So you would be going like a week and a half at times without any kind of a show from the. So Thursdays will be Patreon 1 week. It's going to be every Thursday. So we decided on that yesterday. We're going to do Thursday, every Thursday. There's going to be a show. That show, so it's going to be Sunday, and then we take Monday off, and then we'll be back. Or we're going to be Sunday, Monday, take Tuesday off, be back on Wednesday, and then you'll have 3 days of PRT. Wednesday, and then Thursday, it'll either be the Patreon 1 week, and then the members only the next. And then Friday will be the guest interviews. And then Saturday we're off, and then back to Sunday. We did the Saturday, those shorts, we did those for Halloween season, October. So obviously these people are cowards. They're not going to come on. It's too bad. I knew that they were scared.
Everybody wants to see y'all here. Even the paratroopers, they want to see y'all.
Yeah, they want to see you come on and
they'll raise money to give to you. You just show up,
talk that shit, and I'll roll with it.
Just show your ugly face, and you get free money. That's what you want.
You want money. You want to pay taxes, right? Or buy booze or whatever it is you want to do. I don't care what you do with it. But come on. Bring yourself
money
on.
that you don't have to work for. I mean, that's great.
That's what this is all about, isn't it? Getting rid of me so you can make that money, that paper. That's what you want, right? So here it is. If Barton Clough or Larry or Mike have the balls, which they do not. All of them together don't have one testicle, in my opinion. Come on, or Dana or Hippo, or what's his name? What's the other one? The other girl. What's the other one's name?
Who cup?
Huh?
Who cup?
Puka.
Puka.
Yeah, I'm not bringing that person on. They're so crazy. There's no telling what might be spewing out of their mouth. It would just
Could you
become
imagine being her husband?
No, I can't. I
rather
I talked to the guy. I felt bad for him, honestly.
Poor guy.
He's in bondage, dude, to her.
Yeah, he seemed like just drained,
Yeah.
exhausted.
He was crying too, literally crying and saying, "You don't know what you've done." Talking to all of us, because we called her out on her bullshit. He goes, "I'll be dealing with this for months." And I'm like, wow. Dude, it was, yeah, man. But you can't control who shows up, I mean, I can't say, well, I'm not, I got to make a list. Now I can make a list. But at that time, I didn't know who was nuts and, what are you going to do? Another reason why I don't ever want to do another conference. 3 days, nobody it's anything like it. Have a 3-day conference like that. Everybody told me the same thing.
Yeah.
3 days. Filled the house every day. And Ken didn't think it could happen. He didn't believe it would. He said he had never seen it. He'd been doing conferences and been around a lot longer than me. So, when it was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he was shocked. He didn't think Sunday would anybody be. He thought everybody would be gone.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, it's going to work. Trust me.
You could have another conference if you just had people that specific viewers and stuff buy the tickets.
Well, that's the thing. How would you go about doing it? And also, how do you keep these lunatics and people that they have influenced? Because they've influenced some people. They've made some people in this field who I thought were my friends turn on me, I mean, there's 3 people off the top of my head that were I thought were serious research, 4 of them actually, who turned, and because of Barton's foul buffoonery. Nobody really of any importance from Mike. You just got the goofy retard people, but Barton's managed to fuel a few people. He's got a few of them that turned on me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. You don't realize how weak people are. You don't realize it. You just think, man, these people they can't be that stupid. Yeah, they are. They really are. They're the dumbest people you've ever seen. And they'll follow because they believe. Because if you say something boldly and loudly enough, people are like, wow, it must be true.
Yeah. Because nobody would just lie that blatantly.
Yeah. But he does. And Gabrielle says, anybody who easily turns on you is never your friend. So repost the link up there and let's get people in here. Not just no more invitations to the roach crowd. So I wanted to show you something here. I found these from my friend, the Olympic medalist from Germany. She has a store here. One of my kickboxer friends turned me onto these. Check that out.
Fruit bars?
Yeah. Now I'm going to show you. It's kind of like a Fig Newton. That's what I think it tastes like. It's really, but it's more healthy. And
Is it from Germany?
No, I believe they're from here. Let me look. I'm going to get my glasses to take a look and see, so I can read the ingredients on this thing. Because it's sweetened with let's see here. Can't even read the freaking thing.
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of spirulina and chlorella together and eating a lot of beets lately, and I feel a heck of a lot better getting that nitric oxide level up.
Yeah.
Getting the blood oxygenated.
Can you read this? I can't even. I tore the wrapper, and these glasses are not. It's got some added sugar, but it's got this other type of sweetener in it. It's either monk fruit or something, but they're really good. It's like a healthier version of a Big Newton. It's got protein.
Yeah, I gotta stay away from the sweets.
Are you a sweet eater?
Badly. But the thing is, when I got the sepsis, it gave me freaking bad insulin resistance. That stuff messes with your blood really badly, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
think
it
most
messed
of
me
this-
up bad.
I think most of it's just going to come from the fruit
Mm.
because it's made with real fruit.
But as you can see, it looks kind of like a fruit Newton. They have like blackberry and blueberry, and it actually tastes like the fruit.
Well, that's
Everything
good.
that she sells is like really healthy. So when I eat pizza, I eat this cauliflower crust pizza.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, it's really good. And it has very low carbs. It doesn't have zero carbs. It has some.
Well, it won't spike your blood sugar like the wheat does either.
No. Mm-mm. But within 6 to 8 hours, you better be near somewhere you can use a bathroom.
I did a 24-hour fast yesterday, and then I went over to my dad's house for dinner, and of course his wife makes all this homemade pizza, and I'm just like, oh my god, like thanks so much for the 24-hour fast.
It doesn't kill it. You can still benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean it'll recarb
25
your
or
body, but
36-hour fast, 48-hour fast, they all do different things. When I started the fast, I did two. I did one that was 30. It was almost 4. I did almost, it wasn't quite 4. It was like 38 hours. And then later I did one that was 28 hours.
yeah,
Because Anthony was like, well, you need to, what did we say? I had to start later at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So instead of just eating then and then doing it, I just decided to go straight through.
Yeah.
And now I do it every day, 16 to 18 hours, because you have an 8-hour window where you can eat. And then you have a 16-hour window where you can't eat anything. You can only drink water.
Yep.
And I got to say this, it's been 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And I've only been hungry on the during the fast part, maybe 3 times.
right.
That's weird. Your body gets so in tune to it, you're just you're just used to it.
Yeah, it starts burning fat. The autophagy kicks in, and the body's like, I don't need to eat.
And then it heals your body.
Big time.
And then you start to realize the benefits of it from when you're on the fast. You start to feel better. And for a while there, like that first week, you're starting to feel like there's you feel like you're not necessarily hungry. I wasn't. It wasn't the hunger. It was the brain fog, and then the feeling like you couldn't comprehend things correctly, or you were kind of slow.
Yep.
But then that goes away after several days. They say it's supposed to go away after a couple of days. For me, it went on and on for about a week. But now I'm fine. Like we ate right before the show, but I didn't eat till 8 o'clock. I could have eaten at 8 o'clock, but I didn't. I didn't eat till like 8:30.
When you hit a 24-hour fasting window, it also boosts your human growth hormone by about 2,000%.
Wow.
Yeah. That's huge. The body kicks in and says, oh, no, we haven't had any food, so I need to grow. I need some mechanism to keep going, and it boosts the human growth hormone right through the roof.
Joanne asked the question, are the clothing in the store all you have? No.
We have a bunch of other designs, but those are the giveaways. But we're going to make some more designs for the store too.
Yeah. And we still wanted to work with 7 Clay, but the problem is that they're doing a lot of their stuff through automated, and because they've gotten so busy, And I don't know how long it will take for them to do a turnaround because they're still a smaller company. And now that they've hit this growth spurt, I was thinking, I don't know how quickly they can get things out. So I will have to have another meeting with them to try to figure it out. But for now, we got the, what's it called? Printful back up and running. So, and Nanaki Bro says creatine helped my brain fog a ton. It does. It'd be, but it's naturally occurring. Like people think it's some kind of chemical. It's not. Well, it is in a way, but it's something that's naturally occurring in your body.
Yeah.
And you get it from meat.
Yeah, I take between 15 and 20 grams a day. It helps with brain fog tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're testing with it in Alzheimer's patients, and it's absolutely changing them completely.
Yeah. Creatine does help.
Same as mucuna purines. If you take the mucuna purines, it's a type of bean. It's literally what your dopamine's made of. You feel a million times better when you take that stuff.
So here we are on a Monday, and it's just us.
Nobody's calling in.
Mm-mm. We had a couple people that kind of like they came in and they got kicked back. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, where's Chado when you need him?
Come in and then just like go out.
Yeah, like
2 seconds.
Like they can't get in or something. If you're not able to get in, maybe we can refresh the link, see if we can get people in here.
Seen Tony lately?
Who's Tony?
Chaplain Tony?
He's usually here.
Yeah, I didn't see him all week in chat either.
Yeah, but I mean, it's November, December. It starts to slow down again. Like you get this real big push, September, October, and then it slows down again. About mid-August, when everybody stops vacationing, you start seeing more people in chat. That's how it works. And then you get that until about early November. Then it starts to kind of taper off because a lot of people start working a lot more in November because they're trying to make money for Christmas. So they have money in December. And so that's to be expected. And then a bunch of people are working in December. And of course, you got to work in December because you got to get your last 1 or 2 paychecks before Christmas. And then you got to keep working so that you can pay off all the crap in January.
My dad and his wife are off to the Dominican Republic tomorrow, and they just got their new flu booster and their COVID booster before they went. So,
what?
I
You let them do that?
I believe that's either 8 or 9 now.
Wow.
What?
Jeez.
Don't you know that the government doctors are here to help you, and they would never lie to you, and they have your best interest at heart? And they.
Oh man.
So he's just like one of those then, huh?
I'll tell you, I wouldn't have gone over there for dinner last night if I had have known that.
Dude, my dad finally has woken up, and but it's he already took that.
God
a lot of
bless
my
them.
dear friends got that. I can't believe it. Some of the smartest people I thought, man, these people are smart, and they still did it. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a situation.
We only have 300 people though. If we got some more people here on a Monday, then we could, I would be willing to get some encounters out, and
Is Sailor Nemesis in the chat?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's here.
Because I know that I gotta record after this. As soon as this is over, I gotta record, and then I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: for the show, it's going to be on Thursday. What are we going to talk about? We had a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have that story from because we were talking about the Oswang, and we have that one from Amara. From what the heck island is that? This one was sent to me. Hold on.
Is the Aswang what I think it is?
The same island that Manila is on, or a different one?
I'm trying to remember.
Because with that last Philippine story. I thought it was that island, the same one that the capital was on. I forget the name of it though.
Come on, people in chat, you guys got some stories. Jump on. You don't even have to show your ugly faces.
Luzon is the island.
Luzon.
That's the main one with the capital.
Yeah, that
was a hell of a battle in World War II as well. Luzon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some weird, like somebody had given me something when we were talking about the Green Man, and it was bizarre because there was this big argument that erupted about how, well, there's no pictures, they can't take pictures of this thing, and I'm like, yeah, they can. The pictures that they took didn't come out clear because the thing is not a natural being. It is a, what would you call it? I don't even know what you would call it. An elemental type entity. And it's green. So we could talk about that. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, in the last few days, I've done a lot of work. I got a lot of people's encounters. So I'm waiting on, okay, so last night we talked about shapeshifters, and it was a woman that was talking, her name was Liz. She's actually Argentinian. I didn't know that, but I had messaged with her today because I said, "Hey, I did your encounter yesterday." So talked to her on Instagram, and she is Argentinian, but her and her husband live in Southern California. They look like perfect people. Like, what was I telling you? They're like, oh, you're into fitness too. I'm like, I'm not fit like you are. These people look like they eat like one protein Triscuit a day and work out 18 hours a day. I mean, they look like, like, and apparently in Argentina, there's a lot of people like that. Like, they're real big on being in shape. They don't want to be out of shape at all. And so, anyways,
they come from good stock.
Yeah, they've been living in Southern California for a long time. Like she said, I think 14 years or something like that. But they didn't originally, when they first came to the United States, they were living in San Diego, and then they moved up to California. And it's interesting because when I was talking to her husband briefly about this encounter, about what, whatever, he's going to give me some stories of when he was a kid and there was this giant lizard creature that was attacking their cattle. He grew up on a ranch. She didn't. She grew up in town. And she grew up in the capital. What's the capital of Argentina? I forgot the name of it. Buenos Aires. She grew up in Buenos Aires, and he grew up out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere on a ranch. And his family had been plagued by this reptilian creature. It kind of jogged my memory, of a similar thing. We were talking about this. We described it as being like Megalanius, and it was in Adelaide, Australia, where they had a cattle station. Now there they call them stations; they don't call them ranches.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Gwen. It was a woman named Gwen. I remember that, and she was telling us about her family. And here, come to think of it, I can't remember if Gwen was her first name or her last name. I think it was the Gwen family. I think the last name was Gwen, but it was spelled like Gwey, something like that. Because somebody reached out to me and said, I know those people because they were from Australia too, and they used to work on that cattle ranch, and they had heard this. There was a guy named Phillips, and he had heard the stories. He didn't see it, but he came to work there, and they would always say, Edwin, if you have a story, jump on, man. Come on. And he would always say that he had heard, or they would say that there was this creature out there. So he goes out there on his horse. Get this. This was interesting. And this was, what is his name? Ramos. Shouldn't have said that, but that's his, whatever, the people that gave me the story. But it jogged my memory of that. And so the Gwen family, this guy worked for them. His name was Phillips. and he was saying that he was out there working cattle one time, and his get this is crazy. Now, what would you do? By kilometers, and then you just translate it to it was about 3 miles away from anybody, and then he goes, you could scream, nobody would hear you.
It's about 5 kilometers.
Yeah. So, because it doesn't matter, most people don't do kilometers here, but it was about 3 miles, right? Which is about 5 kilometers. But his horse falls into a ditch, like the ground gave way, right? Now, supposedly that area around there, around that cattle station, there were these pockets of hot air that would come up out of the ground. So his horse goes into this hole. And like I said, I didn't talk to him. This guy emailed me. He says, look, I got a story because he used to work on that particular ranch when we had talked about that on the show. I don't think the whole show was about that. I think it was like a bunch of different stuff about these. And so when this lady had told me, what do you think it was? I said, well, I mean, if I had to say it was a flesh and blood creature, it was Megalania. Like this lizard that fit that checked off all the boxes. And they would come up out of these. So Edwin joined, but he can't get in. See, there's something going on there. Everybody's getting kicked. Something's wrong. We're going to try and figure out what's going on, because every time somebody tries to come in, it's kicking them back out. Try to come in, folks, and see if you're able to get in. So I don't know what's going on.
If I can get in fine in the basement here on my cell phone, I don't know why everybody else can't get in.
But those when I was trying to get on with Abe's show the other night, I couldn't. It was kicking me out. It was doing the same thing.
I think he's trying to get his camera working.
So Lori Gibbs says vaqueros in Argentina have so many stories. They do. There's supposed to be aliens in the mountains. So we're going to do one just about Argentina, because now that makes about
I get a sweet gaucho knife from Argentina. That thing's awesome.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So this guy says that he ends up, his horse breaks both of the legs of this horse. The front legs just kind of bend, and he flips over end. See, now we got a bunch of people jumping in. Okay, so looks like y'all. I'll wait till they're see. Look, they're in, but their devices aren't working. We got a bunch of people in there. See, now somebody just fell out.
Weird,
man.
What the heck's going on?
Okay, Dorothy finally got it. There you go, Dorothy. What's going on, Dorothy? How you doing?
Oh, not much. I was just trying to help y'all out.
Trying to get, because for some reason, like now somebody else is in there, but their
So it's
screen
working for you.
is not coming on. I don't know what's going on, because that's about the 8th person that's tried to come in, and then it's just bounced out.
That's weird.
Edwin can't. It says device not connected.
That's weird.
He's not connected there. What do you got going on, Dorothy?
Oh, not much. Just sitting here listening to you guys.
Joel, how's it going? Andres, got some people here. See how their things are blocked out? Are y'all's cameras working or not working? Because I see this like blinking thing every time somebody tries to come in, and then they go out.
My camera's off.
Okay.
Camera's working. I just got on to test it out. I think some people's pop-up blockers might be kicking them off.
Maybe
that's what it is.
Yeah,
And when you even since Mercury's in retrograde, that's like the most common. It's Mercury. Mercury's doing all this. Freaking piece of crap, Mercury. Why you keep causing problems? So anyways, this gaucho, or not gaucho, this cowboy out in Australia. So it breaks his legs in this big hole, and there is a smaller hole, kind of like, like there's like this giant divot, and then there's a smaller hole that he said if he went down in it, he's an older guy too. He's like in his 50s, but I mean, he said he could have fallen right into it. He goes, I was a 52-year-old man. I wasn't interested in. See, now somebody just got kicked out again. Who was that? Joel was in. Joel just got. See, this thing is making screwy. Gotta love technology. And so he said that he ends up like laying on the ground, and his legs are there, and he hears this hissing noise. Sounded very reptilian, and he got up. He didn't see anything. He goes, and I looked over the edge of this hole, and I thought, man, I could fall in this hole. And then he thought, what if, the thought came up that what if something reaches up and grabs his head? So he got the heck off of there. He got up and he booked it, took off, and he had to walk. He was a couple miles back into the confines of the ranch, and the horses. He had to put the horse down, obviously, and they had to go back out there and get it. When they started to pull the horse out of that hole to get it, they didn't want to leave it there. It was his horse, special animal. The hole opens up and it falls right in. The horse does. He says, "I'll never forget it." He goes, and then I hear this slapping, popping, crunching noise like something is devouring it. And I told him, I said, Phillips, I messaged him back. I said, that could have been you. So who knows what's going on over there in Australia, out there in those cattle ranches, or stations as they call them. There's no telling what's going on. There's no telling what. Well, the same thing goes on in Argentina and of course in Brazil. You get these stories of these gauchos, these vaqueros.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in Argentina they would be considered vaqueros and gauchos in Brazil.
Yeah.
And just cowboys in Australia. But there's a lot of, you think of cowboys, you think of Texas, Montana, But we're not the only ones that have cowboys. They're all over the world. And these people, they work these cattle ranches. There's miles and miles of nothing. And I've gotten stories from most recently, a guy from Colorado who they found a cow that was just chewed up, eaten in half is the way he described it. The insides pulled out from the bottom down.
Jeez.
But if something like a predator, like a wolf, coyote, mountain lion, they're going to eat it from the back end, because typically they'll start eating the animal before it's even dead. But they'll try to kill it if they can, so they don't have to get the thing turning and hurting them. But they eat it from the back end, and they'll eat the organs typically first. That's where the most nutrients are. But they're not going to eat an entire half of an animal, legs and all, and then come back later, which is what happened. Come back later and then just leave the head and part of the spinal cord.
Imagine how big you have to be to eat that much beef in one sitting.
Well, yeah, and then come back and do it again the next day. So they left it out there hoping that they would catch something. And this is in Colorado, right? And they left a guy sitting there to watch. Of course, he falls asleep. Useless ass. Yeah. And Dorothy, you know about that. Some of the people that work for us. They're like, I didn't do my rounds or stay awake, but I did get us fired.
And I am well rested.
And I am well rested and ready to go to a different account to cause mayhem. Well, thank you. That's awesome. That's incredible.
Brutal.
So, yeah. So, Dorothy, what do you have? Do you have anything for us?
Nothing really.
No.
This year, my dad and brother, they went up on their elk hunt, but they didn't get any new stories. They didn't get to talk to any of the ranchers like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't see the wolves this year that are in that part of Colorado that the game and the state keeps saying they're not there, but they have pictures of them. It's a big pack of black wolves running that area of Colorado around Lone Cone and that area.
Yeah.
But me, I'm just trying to get over the surgery I had at the end of September.
That's what I was going to ask. How is it going?
It's going good. It's healing up really well. The doctor says it looks good. Still waiting on all the test results to come back from it, but preliminary test results are not cancer, so that's a good thing. But they still don't know what caused it to do what it did.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to figure out what's going on.
The medical industry, they move like molasses.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're hoping that maybe
There's no reason for that.
You'll die, so they don't got to deal with you.
Yeah.
They're
That's
like,
literally what's happening in Canada.
yeah. They're like, are you still alive?
What's crazy is
got rid of it.
normally, yeah, it takes a long time for anything, but from the time I met the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat specialist she sent me to for this lymph node, it was within a month I was in surgery, which was shocking for me. Normally, you can't get in to see the specialist. You can't, you're waiting months to get into a doctor. But I mean, I was there within a week from the appointment, you know, and her referral, and it was quick.
That's
That's
good.
good. Well, at least you got it done.
Yes.
Yeah. In Canada, there's usually like an 8 or 9 month wait.
Yeah, in Percy
That's crazy.
Canada.
So medical, you know, we have the MAID program here, the medical assistance in dying.
Mm-hmm.
It is the third leading cause of death now in Canada after cancer and heart attacks, or heart attacks and cancer.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Just waiting on getting in.
It's absolutely insane what's happening. They haven't legalized it in the States, though, have they?
No.
No.
Thank goodness.
We'll give it time. They'll probably figure out a way.
Yeah, it is Percy. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Awesome. Quit.
What do you got for us, Andres? You got something going on tonight?
No, not really. I just hopped on to make sure that the link was working for like other people.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
do you want to talk about that green man for a second?
The what?
Sure.
Because I have a theory on why you can't take pictures of these things.
What is
Okay, and it goes in with the red dicyanin dye. Is that when you my understanding of how the light fractals work is that each one is its own little dimension in and of itself, and that our eyes can only see a certain percentage of the dimensions available in our spectrum, and that when these things manifest, that they hide in the light. When it talks about Lucifer and his minions being minions of light, that they will hide in the actual light spectra. And it's why when for example, that red dicyanin dye, and even when you look through an infrared camera, you can see things that you cannot see with your naked eye. So I think that a lot of these entities have the ability to actually hide in different light spectra and manifest themselves at will. And that the green man is probably shows up like glowing green because he's of this green light spectrum.
And what if they are seen and they're not trying to be seen? They're seen by accident. I mean, that could be.
Could be. They bleed over into our realm. Yeah, I think that's probably what's happening in a lot of these cases. Is that these things, like I said, they exist somewhere else, but at the same time on our sort of field, but they exist in invisibility, which is why like people will get shoved by them, or you can hear them or whatever. But if you could see into their light spectrum, then it would open up an entirely new world. Like I stopped looking through the infrared camera out at night because I was seeing so many weird things flying around that it actually freaked me right out. Like when they say that when Rowdy Roddy Piper said that They Live is a documentary, I think he's right, because you can see these things flying around even through the infrared camera, which isn't dicyanin, but it's the same sort of idea, and you can see things, so many freaking things at night. Like every couple of minutes you'll see something, and then you look away from the camera and it's not there, and you look back and it's there, and you look away and it's not there. So I think they're all around all the time. I mean, we know they're all around all the time. And I think that's why you can't get, and that's why you can't get them on camera, is because the camera is only taking a shot in one light spectra or several light spectras, and it's not theirs. I think if you had a camera where you could select the light spectra, then you could see a heck of a lot more of what's going on.
What's interesting too, somebody said dicyanin is blue. I didn't know that. I
No,
thought
it's red.
Well, I thought it was black. Like it's a coal, like a tar type substance.
I don't know. I've got the recipe on my on a PDF
You have a recipe for it? I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me what it is, because I thought it was.
And maybe it is. I don't know. I thought it was red, and that's why they could see it through these first generation infrared scopes.
Yeah, the excuse they used for that was the soldiers were temporarily going insane.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought
Well,
it was
didn't
interesting.
Nintendo had that game system too that was nothing but red and black. What the heck was that thing? I can't remember what it was called. I actually have one. It's upstairs in the attic. I can't remember what it was called, but the game it's really old, like late 80s. Like, but it was like supposed to be 3D, but it was causing a lot of problems with people.
I think I remember what you were talking about. How
It had
old
like
were
a
you?
stand and you had to lean into it and
Yeah.
play it. And,
Are you my age, Dorothy?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think you're a year older than me.
Okay, so you grew up with Nintendo like I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The first
so
gen
you-
game, the original box brick of a Game Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but you're about 10 years younger though, Richard.
Yeah, but I still grew up in the Nintendo generation.
Yeah, for sure. But you probably don't remember the very early, like you probably don't remember the original Game Boy, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
You would. You
100%.
would. Okay.
100%.
Yeah, because my
I was
friend,
born in 82.
my friend that his brother's younger than you, but he's pushing 40. But he had an original Game Boy, and that was my friend Daniel, who I saw the Dogman with. His brother had one. His younger brother. Yeah, I grew up with all that. I didn't have a Game Boy. I ended up with the Game Boy Advance, and then I had a DS and all that. And, like I could
Can't remember what that was called.
get tired of games pretty quick because I could beat them pretty fast. So I really wasn't into platformers because I could beat them in like a day, and then it was like, well, this is boring now. And so I needed games where I could stimulate my brain. So I had to have games that had replay value. Ugh.
So no Duck Hunt, huh?
Yeah, Duck Hunt was very boring. It was fun for about 2 minutes. You know what? Really, the old Atari games, I had a bunch of them,
Yes.
and you had to like just cycle them out pretty quick because they were just, to me, they would get boring so fast. Just dots everywhere, and by the time you had a little like something that resembled a little man, a little person on the screen, a little 8-bit, whatever. I've gotten some weird stories about stuff like that too. I know I can tell you one off the top of my head that I remember. And this was a friend of mine that I've known for at least 2 decades now. But him and his younger brother were playing with the video game. And I might have talked about this on the show before, but the video game, his brother was claiming that the video games were talking to him. And so his brother ended up going into a treatment center and they thought, well, this kid's obviously got problems. He's a schizophrenic. He's got something. And then it turns out that either his brother wasn't crazy or his mom and his other brother, who's my friend that I knew, were actually, like, they were originally from Poland. Like they came here when they were real small. Like it was still during communism. So their dad came over here for a job and then defected, and the United States kept him because he was a scientist, and he worked at this facility over here in Austin. And I just remember like going to school with this kid, and I thought it was funny because I was like 15 or 16, and he had like a full beard, like he was like when you're 15, 16, I'm trying to grow facial hair, to not have splotchy facial hair. This kid had a full beard. And I thought, man, and so he was Polish, and his younger brother, who was like 13 or 14, had a beard too. That was interesting. They had like facial hair, like that really early age instead of just like a little bit of hair, like some. So I was like, damn, I was jealous. I was like, man, y'all got full freaking beards, man. And he's like, yeah, everybody in my family, we grow facial hair real quick. And so he was like 4 and his brother was like 2 when they came here. So they didn't even have accents, but they were from Poland. And his brother was obsessed with video games. And I remember him saying that he was playing some game, and I can't remember what game it was, and that it was talking to him. And then it started telling him, that's the thing. It started telling him to do things that you shouldn't do, obviously. And so whenever he went into the treatment center, and I remember him telling me about his brother being in the treatment center, whatever. This was already about the time where I stopped getting in trouble and started, and I ended up getting in trouble one more time and having to go to a facility. But that was it when I got out that summer. And so his brother was in the treatment center, and I remember I got put in one of those facilities, but it was a reformatory, and so I got in trouble because I got into a fight at school, and I was already like on juvenile probation or whatever the hell it's called. It's called something else, but I was on some kind of program, and so I was doing pretty good, and then that happened, and so that summer I remember I got out, and my friend Bobby had called me and said, "Hey, let's go to Taylor," because he was dating a girl from my hometown. He said, "Do you want to ride to Taylor? I'll drive." And then, because I had a lot of friends in Taylor still, and they were going to a party. So I called, of course, it was long distance back then, to my friends in Taylor, said, "Hey, I'm going to be coming to town." They said, "Yeah, there's a party going on." So we picked up this guy, and I'm trying to remember his name, his brother's name. I can't remember his brother's name. His name was Edgar, but his brother, I can't remember his brother's name. It was like Lewis or something like that. I know that's not right, but it was something like that. But anyway, I remember we were on our way to Taylor, and so my friend Bobby was a horrible driver, and we were driving, and he had to pick up this friend of his through Del Valley. So there was this back road we took. I think it was 973 or something like that. But we went this back road from Del Valley into Taylor, and I was encouraging him to drive really slow because he was a very bad driver. You're talking about 16-year-old kids, right? We're very, very bad drivers, whatever. And so I told him, I said, "Dude, slow down. You're driving way too fast." He goes, "We'll never get there if I drive." I said, "Well, I'd rather get there alive and late than dead, not get there." And so I encouraged him to slow it down. And so we started telling ghost stories, and I don't even know how it went down. It wasn't even my idea. I think it was what's Eddie's idea, Edgar. And he says, "I got one for you." He goes, "You know how my brother went to the treatment center for hearing voices from the television, but only during video games, when he was playing video games." And he says, "Well, it happened to me."
Wow.
And I never forget this. And so I told the story what happened to me when I was 15. I saw that dogman creature. And then Bobby told a story, and of course Edgar's like, "Well, I'll tell you what happened to me." He says, "I was, playing a video game, and my mom called me, and so I put the Super Nintendo away, whatever." And he's like, "And I get up to go and get dressed or whatever, because he had to go to church or something like that." And I remember they were like Roman Catholic. And he says, and my mom and dad are very serious about, you can't miss mass or whatever. Because I spent the night at their house one time on a Saturday, and the next day it was Sunday, and they made me go to church with them. So I had to go to like Catholic mass or whatever. And I was like, "Well, I'm not Catholic, but I'll go, whatever." I'm not going to argue with his parents. I didn't care. And so they were very devout, and his grandmother lived with them. Because, a lot of people from Eastern Europe, they're very traditional people, kind of like Hispanic people. Like they won't make the elderly people go to a home. They'll just take care of them, And so that's what was going on here. And so he goes, "I go to put my video game away." And I remember he was saying it was like Super Castlevania. I remember it was like part 4 or something like that, And he said that it started talking to him, but it was speaking to him in Polish.
Wow.
Like I remember him saying that, but it wasn't anything big. Like it didn't tell him to do anything. It just says, "Come back." On the TV, and was telling him not to go to church. Yeah.
Huh.
So he just was like, runs into the room and tells his mom, and his mom comes in there, and it did it again. It was like, "Stay here." And his mom was like, "What the heck?" So she freaked out. So their grandmother freaked out and took all their video games away and put them away in the attic. But when Dorothy was talking about Nintendo being in the attic, it just kind of jogged my mind because I remember that. About a year later, I remember my friends Bobby and Eddie got into a wreck because they were down in Houston, and he drove his car. Eddie drove his car right into a lake, right there. Not a lake, but like a big pond, and they nearly drowned because they sunk down into it, and they had to get out. And Bobby was a good swimmer, and so was Eddie. So they got out of there, but they had to like if his car was sinking, and I just remember that. And he said that that summer, the next summer, I guess I was like 16, 17, and I was already going to school back in my hometown. And so I would go to visit my mother. And in the summertime, I went to go visit my mother. Well, it's kind of like I had to stay there for, a certain period of time or whatever. So I was at my mom's for about a month. And so I was running around Austin, with my friends from Austin. And I remember him telling me, he's like, because we were over there at his house, and his brother was in his room, playing games or something like that. And he looks at the clock and he says, I got to go tell my brother to put the video games up. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You can't play them. So he couldn't play video games. But his brother was so addicted to them, so ridiculously addicted to video games. And this happened to Tony. Our Tony. He had this obsession with video games, and we had to, like, not us, but his parents, and they had me agree to take them away from him, because he would sneak into the closet to go play video games. And he would take his sister's little SpongeBob television just to play them, dude, because he was that obsessed.
Yep.
So it gets on top of people, right? So his brother was in there playing them, and he had to go and tell them so they could stick them back up in the attic so his grandmother and mom didn't come home and see him. And his dad didn't give a crap. His dad was a workaholic. His dad was working all the time. He worked for like some tire company or something. Like developing them. And I just remember, like, his dad asking me one time, we went out to eat, his dad took us to some place to get burgers or something. He goes, and I remember he goes, are you addicted to the video games too? And I'm like, no. I was like, I play them, but I play sports or whatever. He goes, that is what I want for Edgar. I want him to play the games very little, just to go and go outside. He's like, but my younger brother, his younger brother, he don't want to do that. He wants to look at the TV and hear voices. Like, he kind of said it like it wasn't really happening, So I don't know. I think anything like that, if it becomes an obsession, demonic, can become a medium. They could use it.
But the microchips themselves all look like demonic
Edwin, welcome to the
sigils.
show.
Can you hear me, Josh?
Yes, I can hear you, Edwin. Yeah, and you're right, Richard. The demonic sigils. Yeah.
Am I echoing?
No, you're fine.
No.
So, Edwin, you want to tell us what you got going on? You said you had this story for us. What you want to tell us?
Yeah. I'm trying to stop the echoing from my mic from the show.
Is it bothering you? Because it's not bothering us.
Okay. No, as long as it's not bothering you.
No. Go ahead.
But my story is that I'm Puerto Rican and I got family in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an aunt as a matter of fact, she lives in Texas now. But when she was living in Puerto Rico, she was like drinking. She was sniffing a lot of cocaine. She was a party animal. And she used to live with her husband in Junco, Puerto Rico. And the house that her husband inherited used to belong to his parents. And his father murdered his mother and then killed himself. He blew his head off with a shotgun in the backyard, and they inherited. So my aunt moved in there with her husband, and she was living a sinful life. She was going to get like her, to get tarot cards read to her. There's an island in Puerto Rico that they call La Isla de los Brujos, where it's nothing but voodoo over there. So she would go over there. So she ended up getting possessed by her husband's dead father. And before that happened, her husband had a night job. And her husband used to be driving to work. And her husband used to be like, I see my father. He drives with me to work, and he's always telling me for me to kill you and for me to kill myself so I can keep him company because he's lonely. Because they were going through like trials and tribulation at the time.
Yeah.
Like, so you know, when somebody's going through something, it's real easy for evil to sneak in. But I believe and let me tell you something. Like, I was over there when when it first got into my aunt. Like, we were all sleeping, and when I wake up, my female cousin is running around, and she got the phone, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And when I go to my aunt's room, it looked like somebody picked her up from one end of the room and threw her to the other end of the room.
Hmm.
And it happened like 5 times in front of my eyes. And so my grandmother, which is her mother, lives in another side of Puerto Rico. So they went and they got her and they brought her to my grandmother's house, and they got a priest to go over there and pray like an exorcism. And they managed to get it out, but whatever they got out, it stood in my grandmother's house. My grandmother's house is 2 floors. So I was over there one time, and my grandmother told me, "Hey, why did you leave the light on downstairs? Go shut it off." And I'm like, "But I didn't leave the light on downstairs." So she was fighting with me. So I went down. I went to go turn the lights off, and when I went downstairs, the lights was off. But when I'm going downstairs, I could see from the outside that the light is on. But when I walked in to shut it off, the lights is off. And when I look at the last bedroom, I see 2 red eyes staring at me.
Yikes.
And like, so the way my aunt ended up in Texas, my cousin Robert, he went to the military and he took like that side of the family to Texas. But so she's still with the house. She's a born again. She goes to church and everything now.
Mhm.
But my little cousin that's also in Texas, when she was a little girl, she went to a family gathering and it was crowded, so they had no choice but to stay there. And everybody knew about that house. Nobody wanted to stay there. So my little cousin is like 3 years old and she's playing with the little chickens and she's chasing the chickens to the backyard. And when she chased the chickens to the backyard, she left out running. That she almost got hit by a car. And when they asked her, she said that there's a man with a beehive face staring at her in the backyard.
Oh,
Remember when I told you that the guy shot his face off with a shotgun?
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
And
what I was thinking. Like something.
so, you know, so the reason I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh. The reason that I used to stay over there in Puerto Rico a lot is because I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I used to catch a lot of cases. And I used to go on the run when I was young. I
Yeah.
used to be like, catch me if you can. So I used to go to Puerto Rico. Yeah, so I used to go to Puerto Rico. And when I got in trouble over there, I would come back over here. But one time, I had to stay over there at my aunt's house because there was no room for me. And I stood there for one day. And let me tell you, like, I couldn't sleep. I felt like somebody was watching me the whole night. I had the air conditioner on and I was sweating like they threw a bucket of water on me. And I looked and I wasn't even half asleep. I was fully awake. I looked and like maybe like 3 feet away from me, I saw like a man with a cloak, with a robe, just standing there looking at me. And then he moved his hand. He tried to grab me. The next day, I got a plane ticket. I said, I'd rather go to jail. And I
Wow.
turned myself in. Like, and that house is still there. It's empty. She tries to rent it out. And people only last like a week or 2 weeks and they leave.
Hmm.
And she's a born again Christian now. And she goes to church. And her husband goes to church too. But when they were going through that, she got possessed by her husband's father that killed his wife, and then he took his own life. And when they were doing the exorcism in my grandmother's house, when the priest walked in, he had a rosary in his hand, but he had the rosary in his pocket. And my aunt was like, "Take that out. My head hurts. Take that out."
Mm.
And she was like, "We was like, what you talking about?" She was like, "Well, he got in his pocket, and he took out the rosary."
Mm.
But I never believed in any of that, Josh, until I saw those red eyes and that cloak figure. And it wasn't like if I saw it from a distance. I saw it like it must have been like 5 feet away from me. And the creepiest one was the eyes, because it looked like it was moving towards me real slowly.
Mm-mm.
So
You know, and whenever you're, and I was like you when I was young. You know, I would be in trouble. You know, and so I would end up going to bouncing between Rockdale, Taylor, and Austin. You know, all three different counties: Milam, Williamson, and Travis. And back then, you could kind of bounce around between counties. You know, the system wasn't as locked in. It got locked in really quick, though. By the '90s, by the late '90s, they had already figured out. You know, like you couldn't just hold on one second. You're going to break that. You're not going to be able to use it. You keep doing. Why don't you use a knife?
it was as a matter of fact, Josh, one time I was up north in Elmira, and that place is haunted. Like the correction office used to be like it's haunted. And in the nighttime you would hear like the toilet flushing, the shower turning on and everything. One time we were sleeping and we heard the correction officer say, "Hey, come over here." And when we all got up and the sergeant came, he said that he chased the inmate that ran outside. But everybody was counted for, so what he was chasing was a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be a psych ward before it was a prison.
Yeah, it might as well be the same thing. I mean,
The psych ward, they have a super jail near us in a place called Penetang. And I know several people that have been in the psych ward. And my one neighbor, especially, who spent a lot of time in there when he was a lot younger, said that it was one of the most haunted places he's ever been in. He said he would never go back there again. They'd have to do something to him instead, because he said it was so haunted that yeah, like the specters would walk the hallways and stuff like that. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've gotten stories from people that I know in my everyday life that have seen spirits. One of the most notable was there's a county jail in a neighboring county around here, and a friend of mine used to work there, and his name was Jody. And he told me, he says, one day I was doing the head count, and there was a guy who had passed away, who had died, you know, in his sleep. And the next day, or he said it was a couple days later, he wasn't on he wasn't on duty for a couple days. He comes back. I remember we were at the gym and he told me this. And he said that I come back and he's there asleep. And for a split second, he walks by and he sees the guy laying there in his bunk. And he's like, you know, he goes back and looks and the guy's gone.
yikes.
And this happened to him like 3 times. And then at one point, that cell sat empty because 2 or 3 people had gone in there and said that they felt something, complaining about somebody coughing and seeing a dark shadow in the corner, saying that they were hearing somebody humming and whistling, which that guy would do. And then, because the guy would tell anybody that would listen that he was innocent, he was going to beat his case because he wasn't guilty. So then, and I know the guy's name. I'm not going to say his name, but the guy was even like, you know how they have the little window, you know, he was looking at the window of the door trying to get his attention. He's like, and I kept forgetting this guy was deceased, you know, and I would see him like he was alive. He goes, me and the other guards would see him. And they didn't want them putting it on the report. It was like, don't do that because you'll end up losing your job because they'll say you're crazy. But the inmates knew it and the guards knew it, that this guy, whatever his deal was. And then it turned out that he was innocent. And I don't remember the whole story, but it was me, my brother, and I think Scorpion and a few other people. We were at the gym working out and he was up there with my friend Reggie. He used to manage that gym. And we were all there working out. And I remember him telling, he used to come in every night and work it. And he told us, he says, yeah, he goes, that guy I was telling you about a few months ago, he goes, he was innocent. He spent 7 months in there and he got sick. Like he had something, not the flu. He had something else. He got real sick, pneumonia. And they don't take care of you. They don't give a shit. You're in there. They don't give a crap. If you get your medicine, you get your medicine. You don't. So he ends up dying. And I think he was just extremely pissed because he was being falsely accused. And so he just caused a lot of problems. But once it came out that he was innocent and it was announced that they had caught the person who actually did what he was accused of, they stopped seeing him. Like that was
Wow.
it. Yeah, it was my friend Jody. He used to work. He was a big old guy, ex-Navy guy. But I just remember, like, when he got that job, I thought, well, that makes sense. Jody, he's a tough guy. He can, and he used to kickbox. But he was telling me about that guy, and that dude was actually a pretty smart dude, and but he was telling everybody he was going to be vindicated one way or the other. And then when he finally was, then they quit, seeing his spirit.
That's
So,
weird.
Edwin, how much time did you spend down in Puerto Rico?
I used to as a kid, my parents would always take me. So, but like when I was young, I was a knucklehead. So I used to get into legal problems out here. And when you're young, you think like, I had the mentality like, how dare you try to take me to jail? You're gonna take me to jail? Like, yeah, I was ignorant, so I would just leave to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And I could tell
So,
when you jumped on that you sounded almost immediately. I thought, this guy sounds like New York Rican. That's what I thought. You had
yeah,
that.
born and raised out here in Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a very like you could just tell the cadence, and you're like, oh, this is a New York Rican. Because one of my good friends was that way. And
But
we used to call him Rico. That wasn't his name. We call him Rico for Rican, because he was like, I'm a New York Rican, and you could just tell that's where he was from.
but I just want you to know, Josh, that I sincerely think that you really have a heart of gold and you are a good-hearted individual. And I say with the utmost respect, if I would have had somebody like you as a role model in my life, I would have never went to jail. I would have had my life straight right now. People will benefit more having you as a friend, and I say that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I appreciate it. So, how old are you now? How long have you been staying out of trouble?
I'm 45.
Yeah.
But I've been
Yeah,
at last. I mean, I've been staying out of trouble. Last time I was in jail was 2008.
that's yeah. Okay. So you've put some distance between you and the trouble. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. 17 years, and it's hard
yeah.
because once you get into that system, it's like a washing machine. You can't get out. You just keep going around and around. I know because I was in it when I was young.
It's very. Once you go in, it's easy to go back in.
Hmm. And the judge will look at the book and go, "Yeah, look at this guy's jacket. He's already been in trouble so many times. He probably did this shit. Even
Yeah,
if you didn't do it, they're gonna think, oh,
yeah.
you're in front of them again. For whatever reason."
It was.
Yeah.
It's cool. But another thing, Josh, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a video on the internet. It's just a video on the internet. There's no content creator. It's just a random video on the internet. It's of Brazil. It's like really quick. It's like 5 minutes, like 3 minutes long. This guy captured a dog man up close and personal, trying to break into his house. And like you see his face and everything. He's not shaking the camera, nothing. And let me tell you something. You know how a spider moves? That it moves like it looks like if you blink in your eyes really fast. Like you can't really see it move because it got all those legs. That's how the dog man was moving in the camera in the video.
Hmm.
Was he doing the spider walk?
Actually, he was trying. He was moving. He got an evil face. It's the shape of a dog, but it got an evil face, and he was sticking his arm. He was sticking his arm in like through the screen. He broke the screen, and he was trying to get it, but the door had like metal guardrails, and you could tell it like he was drooling and everything. It wasn't a mask, and then he just started howling out of nowhere. He came a couple of. That's why the video was like 5 minutes long because he kept on coming every night.
Hmm.
every night.
There's been so many cases that we've covered of dogmen trying to break into people's houses. One that was most notable from years and years ago, it's probably been 15 years now, or maybe not that long. Let's see. First heard about it in 2014. It was 11 years, so it happened a few years before that. But it was somebody who was telling the story, and I remember it was me and Vic, and this person was talking about this thing coming through the doggy door and getting stuck. And that wasn't the first or last time that we would hear about something like that. So I told people, I was like, look, if you're living in an area where these things could be, and just if somebody's doing it, if it's a person doing it that's shape shifting, or whether it's a whatever you want to believe it is, that's how it was trying to get in. I would not have those. And around here, we can't have them because you'll have coyotes and raccoons that'll walk into your house. Because there's a lot of open fields and forests and stuff around where I live. So they'll just show up. The other night, there were 3 big coyotes, and we almost hit one of them. It was you and me and Tony.
Yeah, it's right there in the neighborhood.
Right there, running around the neighborhood. And they'll jump the fence, the back fence, and take your dogs. They don't care. I know that there was a lady. Here's a blast from the past. I remember years ago, and this happened. There was a woman from Minnesota, and I don't know what happened to her. This was way back before AI was really what it is now. You couldn't really do this kind of stuff with AI, the general public anyway. And she was from Minnesota, and she sent us a series of photos, and there were 3 of them. And one of them was of this thing with its mouth open. You remember those photos, Anthony?
Oh, yeah.
The thing's mouth was huge.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then there was another one where it was like climbing the fence, another one where it just was like holding its hand over you could see the nasty hand. And she's an elderly lady too. I mean, I talked to this woman, and she was not, she was probably like, I think she was like in her early 80s or something like that. And she said, I had that photo, and we talked about it at my conference because Jody Cook was at my conference. And Jody was there, and when I was on stage talking about it, I mentioned that Jody had that photo too. It was him, me, I think Nick Valenti. I'm not 100%. I think Bettina had it, and then like she ended up with it from I think through Marvin, and maybe he got it from somebody. I don't know who, but I think that they all had it. There were 7 people that had it. I had it, and Vic Cundiff had it, and then there was another person that had it. I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Linda Godfrey. But there was several of us that had that photo, and get this, it disappeared off of everybody's stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And if people are being honest, I'm almost positive that Linda was one of them. And if people are being honest, I know that she told at least a couple people, either she told them about it or that she had it. And I can't remember, but because it, you could say, well, that's just the Mandela effect, whatever, but that was weird.
That is weird.
We backed it up. Anthony put it on a hard drive, and then we had it on our phones. So because I had it and my brother had it on his phone, so I'm counting us as like one. But it disappeared from everybody's phone. And I thought, good grief, dude, like, that freaked me out. And I remember Vic saying, that he was like, like we shouldn't. He was talking about being afraid that something could happen if you had these photos. And he had a video that somebody had made of a dog man going for a piece of meat hanging in California. I didn't see that video or that, but I saw something that was similar to that a couple of years later that I believed was the same thing, which may not have been. I don't know. But that one was near, what city was that? Not Redding. It was just north of Sacramento, and I'm trying to remember where it was at. But this person, they had it. It was near. It wasn't in a city. It was near a city. It was a ranch, and so I can't remember if that person said that they got visited or something happened, you know, and somebody visited them, and then the information disappeared. Because in those early days, I believe that those photos that people were taking, even though they weren't always real clear, I think that those were real, and
Yeah,
they
no
got
doubt.
taken. And so Armando, my old co-host, he did um like an image search, like a back image search on that photo with the one with its mouth open, and nothing came up. But then when those photos disappeared, Armando still had that's right. Armando was the other person. Armando, so there was about 7 or 8 of us. And he had the original with the mouth open. And I remember he sent it to me because it disappeared off of my phone. He goes, I got it. And his wife worked, I'll just say this, his wife worked for the government at that time as an attorney. Not like, you know, but she was an attorney. She prosecuted cases and stuff like that. But he saved it on a zip drive. And then I ended up with that picture, and I had it for years. And so we did a reverse image search. We couldn't find anything. Then all of a sudden, this little douchebag he's one of those people that's been friendly with those dickheads that are making a big stink about everything. That dude, and I'm not going to say his name, but that dude, he's such a weasel. It looked like he photoshopped the head of that dog man onto a wolf's body, and it looked so goofy. It didn't look real. It looked like the head was almost the same size as the body, you know. And he said, "Oh, this is what they think is a dog man," and he posted it on his little deal and got people. So that's why I think some of these people are controlled opposition, because I think that that's the kind of shit that they do. Because we covered that case, and that picture was not a fake, and I'm convinced that it was not a fake. And I remember that picture, the head of that dog, whatever the hell, it wasn't a wolf. You can look and see this is not a damn wolf. I don't know what it is, but he put it on a wolf's body and said, and he put it in his group and said, "Look, that's a wolf." Oh. And there was no, like, even just a few months before that, there was no, like, anywhere on Google or anywhere of that picture. And so I think that when they do things like that, just because they don't like you, or maybe because they're trying to muddy the waters, when people do things like that, I think that is just that it causes so many problems, because I know that. And then that woman, she disappeared. Like, her daughter reached out to us and said she was moving or something. And then we never had a phone number, or no, we talked about it, her having not been, you know, around, and somebody announced it in one of the groups. Then somebody claiming to be her daughter says that she moved away and that she was going to get everybody in touch with everybody, and she never did. But she was an elderly woman living in Minnesota, in northern Minnesota. And this dogman creature, this wolf-like creature, was messing around in her backyard. To me, it was one of the clearest photos of what a wolf, a man or werewolf, whatever, would look like. I don't think it was a fake. I don't. And I remember a bunch of people had that picture. They did. And we don't know what happened to it, because I talked to everybody and they were like, "It's gone. I don't have it." And I thought that was odd. You know.
Can't be a coincidence.
No, I know. So John Sablon is saying here, you gave me one though, and then I gave it back to you. Wolf, that's the one that you gave me right after Teddy died. Yeah, I'm wondering if John, because you know what, John, there was you, because there was a guy that gave me a story, and this is another weird synchronicity. There was a guy named Jean, not Sablon, but his name was Jean. Anthony, the guy who told us a story about he wrote romance novels. He died last year or the year before. He died like recently, not too long ago. During the whole pan.
Yeah, I wondered how.
Yeah, and so he was the one that had that thing that crawled out of the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Jean. Jablon or something like that. It wasn't it Jean Jablon or Jean?
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
guy.
it was
Chat.
very similar.
Yeah, you
to that.
remember?
Yeah.
So it was like Jean Jablon or something. But he was French, and he went by an alias, and he wrote these trashy romances. Now him and his wife, but then he ended up in that chateau in France, and at night he was hearing these like things bumping around. And it was around the time I told that dude from Germany's story, the one who turned on us with Klupp and them. And I told it on DER. And then that guy's Dogman story I told on DER. But he had another story that I told on our show. And I remember my little dog baby, she came in there and I was alone. And there was nobody in the house. It was just me and Nelly. Everybody was at work. And it was like 4 in the morning or something. And I had gotten up to go and check the emails. Because, back then we didn't get like tons of them like we do now, where we have to every 12 hours move them over to a thing, well, it's not that often, but it's pretty, you have to move them over. And then there's stuff that we get from all kinds of people, marketers and whatever.
Hey, Josh, do you know about the first chupacabra sighting was in Puerto Rico and it's totally different?
Yeah.
It was like an alien bug.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Like a little lizard
It
man thing.
attacked my grandmother's neighbor that was washing his car. Like he had like deep scratch marks all over his face.
Do you know the
Wow.
story?
Yeah, he was washing his car. It was in the daytime, and all of a sudden everybody heard him screaming. I was out there for this. I heard the scream, but I was sleeping, and I got to see like he had a lot of deep cuts. And he said that when he turned around, like it was like a little bug creature with big eyes, and it started like clawing at him. And when he wet it with the hose, like it turned into like a form of a ball, and it rolled away. And then when
Like,
it hit the like a rock, instead of going up, like it just went through it, like it faced through it. That was his words. But a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think that like it probably is related. The chupacabra that's spotted in Texas and all over in other places that looks like a dog. But I know the one from Puerto Rico looks like a bug, like with the big eyes and everything, and it got like spikes that it uses to attack going down its spine.
Do you want to know my theory on that particular
Yeah.
creature? Okay, I'm going to come back to that. Let me finish what I was saying about the dog man, and then I will give you, because I remember when Nick Redfern wrote about that, and I gave him like 3 witnesses to talk to. There was the Cocopelli. One of them was she used to be in the chat. I can't remember her name. I know what she looks like. I'm trying to remember her freaking name. She was in the chat quite a bit. But anyways, here's what happened with the Dogman thing. So that guy I was reading his email about the thing that crawled out of the mirror, and he was one of the people who had a Dogman story. And so I was going over his stuff, and I saw the email. There was more. There was a bunch of stuff about when him and his wife separated. He ended up getting his wife's aunt had a chateau in the north of France. And he ended up staying there and ended up getting snowed in. And he was sort of trapped with something that was coming out. Here we go again with the attics here. Something that was crawling around up in the attic, which had been turned into like a loft / unit, like a living space. And this thing was crawling out of it. And right when I hear that something rubs against my leg, and I just threw my leg out, and it was baby. Poor baby. And she ran. And I ran after her. I'm like, hey, baby, I'm sorry. She's like rolling over. There's a little tail wagging, Poor little thing. I didn't mean to do that. It was so freaking reading that story, and it was in the dark, and the only light is the computer screen, and then it's dark all around me, and baby rubs against my leg, and I'm like, it's embarrassing. But it's so that guy, Jean Jablon, Jean something like that. But he was a French guy, and he was an author. And I remember he passed away. Like I think he passed away like 2022. was a year after my mother died. And because I remember, what year did Armando was the next year, wasn't it? Was
Yeah.
it 23?
Mhm.
Because I remember talking to Armando about that. I said he passed away, and we thought with the way that situation went down, it was kind of weird, you know, because he was quarantined and he was by himself, and then he got really ill. And I thought it was weird because Armando had that picture. Now get this, and I think that Jean, you may have ended up with that picture because I thought you were him because I had sent it to him, or thinking it was Jean instead of Jean. And then I think I sent it to Jean.
His
too.
last name was Seblon as well.
Yeah, it was
'Cause I
weird.
mistook the two as well.
Yeah, and so I ended up sending it to him. He passes away. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I may have sent it to another person from Tennessee. They're gone. Armando is gone. And I know that Linda Godfrey's gone. So that's weird, right? And I don't think it's just because I don't think it's because of that picture. But imagine though, if these people have that, they could have other things, you know.
Yeah.
And it was something that I'd gone over with Jody about too. And I was like, well, what, you know, and Nick Valenti and Nick Redfern, actually, you know. And I might have sent it to Nick Redfern. And anyways, so Nick is now living up in England. But what's weird about that is that I had talked to him during the time when he was talking about, now we go to this chupacabra thing here, and Redfern was doing the research on that. And he had already written the book, but he was interested in any other stories that he might be able to do, like an addendum to it, or maybe when he did like a revised version of it. You know, people do that, especially when you've written 70 books like him. And he's a very prolific author. I think in this field, the only person that comes closest, he's the only person that comes close to Steiger, probably, is Redfern. How many books did Brad write before he passed away? I mean, like a lot.
Yeah, he was busy.
Right, he was a very busy guy. I read a lot of his. I read probably 30 of his books, and that's not even. I think he read over 100 books. I mean,
You think Redfern got threatened? I do.
I'm not sure. There's speculation, things like that. I just know when he left, he was in a big hurry to leave, and he had left some books to give to a mutual friend of ours for me to get, and I never got them. I was in the process of doing an MK Ultra book with him, and then I got left with his part of the manuscript, and that was it. I don't know. Jessica says, "How did Linda Godfrey pass?" But you know, I don't know. This the thing with the chupacabra. Bless.
Thank you.
But the thing with the chupacabra, it got to the point where there was so much. There was the waters got so muddied and so convoluted that people were thinking it was this thing that Ken Gerhard had in what is the name of that town? Cuero. There's a ranch outside of Cuero, and there was a woman who was, and I remember we talked about it on the show one time, and I said her name on there too, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she used to be having issues with those animals, and she killed one. But the animals were being exsanguinated, right? And then there was this dog-like creature that was the culprit. And everybody said, "Well, you know, case closed. We figured out who or what the animal is. The mythical chupacabra is this dog-like creature, wolf-like creature, I don't believe that that is exactly true.
There's like 3 or 4 entities that they group it in with.
Hmm. Um, oh, my back. So this chupacabra type creature that Redfern was looking at was more of the Puerto Rican type. But I believe, and I've said this before, and I've said this many times, I think that that thing ended up in Cuba, and I think it ended up in Mexico, and I believe that it went via the narcos, and I think that that's what did it.
You're right. It did end up there.
Hmm. And so I don't believe that it was just like just because people said, "Well, there's a chupacabra," like the legend, the name, whatever, and then it was this wolf-like creature because in southern Mexico and the Yucatan, the creature looks very similar to the one in Puerto Rico. And then when you get into northern Mexico, you start to hear stories around Matamoros and places like that, from Monterrey to Matamoros. You start to hear stories of both, of that same type of weird gremlin looking goblin thing. But then you also hear of a canid version of it. I will say this: I think that the chupacabra is a vampiric creature. I think that that is a disease or a parasite that parasitizes people and entities, and I think that it infected coyotes or wolves or more accurately coy wolves. And I think that they spread it around, and I think that that's what it did, and it used its fangs to clamp down onto a creature and to drink the blood of animals. That is something that I've believed for a long time was the case. And I kept telling Ken Gerhard when he was doing the research, I said, look, I think that that thing is a type of vampire. It's a chupacabra, yeah. But what I know now is that's not really a chupacabra. It's this little creature, but I think that thing can shapeshift too. But for whatever reason, imagine this gets kind of deep. Now, this is the rabbit hole I will take you down, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but I mean, it is what it is. I told Ken this, I told Nick this, and I told several other people this, including the late Linda Godfrey. And I said this thing, we were talking about it. And my theory is that, and I believe actually I was just talking about Jody. I think Jody was another person I talked about it. And I said this to many people. And some people thought it was plausible, and some people thought, nah, that's crazy. You know, whatever. And then you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to fight about it. But now knowing what we know about vampires, and I'm going to 100% say that we are the ones that did it. We figured it out. My enemies are going to move against me quickly. As soon as this is over, they'll already start stamping out bullshit to try to discredit me. They are the unhealthiest thing that this community's ever faced. And I'm telling you the absolute truth. And not just because they attack me and people I care about, but they also attack all the other YouTubers and podcasters who are doing real work. So if they're not being paid, then they're doing all these shenanigans for free.
Your success is driving them crazy.
It's driving
That's
them
what it
nuts.
is.
It is.
If
And they
let me
can't
tell
come up
you
with anything.
something, Josh. If you was down and out without a job with 0 subscribers, they would love you. They would
Yeah.
love you. You'd be their best friend. But being that you're doing for yourself and you're doing an amazing job and you coming up on this streaming business and you got a great business on your own in your own personal life, it drives them crazy. You know, one thing that I do know, people love to hate. People
Yeah.
love you when you
Yeah.
broke, but hate you when you're successful.
Yeah.
Jealousy is bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah. And they're very they celoso. I mean, very. I mean,
Yeah.
it's real bad. I mean, what I think about this chupacabra thing is I think that the United States, maybe the shadow version of it, I don't know, the government has had strong ties in Puerto Rico, subsidized probably by taxpayer money in some way or another under somebody's watch. I don't know who, but it went way back to the early 90s. I think the early 90s is even that's too far late. I think it was probably even the 70s, but I think in the 90s, I think is when it closed down and these things got loose. But I think that they were taking alien species, maybe a hybrid of some kind, maybe something that had been here for a long time, like the Cocopelli of the Mayan legends. And then this thing was the template for whatever shenanigans they decided to do with it. And they were studying its vampiric behavior. When this thing definitely is just another being that's been parasitized. We know about the reptilians, the Draco possibly being the Vril, and being parasitized. That could be. But you have this little creature who is also a parasitized or a parasitic being itself. And then this thing moves on. And then it's small enough to be captured and turned into a pet, even though it's definitely not domesticatable, and gets taken to Cuba. And then it ends up in Mexico and in multiple Latin countries. And I think it is something that could have been alien in origin from maybe a couple millennia ago that ended up here, or it came from the inner earth, which I think the origins of the inner earth is almost all alien to us anyway. And then it becomes what it is, which we know now as this little chupacabra creature. And then at some point it parasitized other animals like birds. And we get these weird vampiric creatures that fly around. Could be that it parasitized a canid, or maybe that thing didn't do it at all. Maybe it was another type of vampire and they grew up parallel to one another in the same regions. But there are multiple stories of these creatures in the Dominican Republic, in Puerto Rico, traveling all over that island and doing all kinds of God knows what. Only he knows. And then you get this paranormal soup, as Jason Bland always calls it, one of my colleagues and good friends, that's going on simultaneously. And so then you have the chupacabra, which is initially just this little whatever with the spines, and then later it becomes this dog, when in reality it is a bug, a germ. And I've said this before to many researchers and authors and other podcasters, YouTubers. I think this is what it is. And I know because these other YouTubers, podcasters, and authors were not communicating with one another because each one of them was doing their own thing, doing their own project. But I was communicating with them all. And I wanted to get to the bottom of this. And when you start to go down this rabbit hole, what's going on, man? And you start to go down the rabbit hole of what this creature could be. And when I talked to Lynn now, she passed away from Parkinson's, the late stages of Parkinson's. She could barely talk the last time I was even trying to communicate with her. But we talked many times about multiple different entities, and the reptilian thing really scared her. She didn't like talking about that. She could handle the vampire, the dog man, and all that stuff, but didn't really know what to make of the vampire as far as like what she said in one of her books, that people aren't reporting a vampire. Well, that was true at that time because people didn't know their idea of what a vampire was. They're going to say, well, this is a vampire. It's some guy that's just a human looking dude with fangs that drinks blood. That's a cosplayer. That's not a vampire. So you don't look at that and go, oh, that's a vampire. That's just a person that's pretending to be whatever that is. When people report the shift of these creatures, and it does happen, and it happens a lot more than you would think, they don't look human. There's the semblance of a humanoid, but it's not a human. It definitely is not. It just plays as one. It's pretending to be one. Whereas there's humans that pretend to be a vampire. This thing is the exact opposite. It's pretending to be us. And this could be something that they used to experiment to figure out what that was and how that mechanism worked. And then it got away from them, you know. And in the 90s, when they started to, hey, let's close these facilities down, the money's not there anymore. I think it would have been in 1990, was it about 2000 when Bush came to power? There was no money for that because he needed money to go to war with Iraq and everything else he was trying to pull. So those kind of places were shut down. And I think that they just let these creatures run into the jungle. I do. Now, were they there before? If they were there before, I don't believe that they were from the jungle. I believe they were inner Earth species. That's my opinion. I think that there is an entire ecosystem that lives below us.
There is.
Absolutely. And how everybody's showing up late here. What's going on, modern man? How you doing today? You still modern?
I'm doing good, man. I'm definitely out of my element here, man. This is crazy stuff. I mean, I guess I'm a normie when it comes to a lot of these topics because I don't have any personal experiences with them. The dog man and what did you say, underneath the earth?
Just an ecosystem within the earth. There's different types of entities that are existing there. There's an entire ocean below us.
I'm gonna back out so the rest of the guests can have an opportunity, but I just have a question. Like, why does everybody, like the Hispanics that I know and the elders, they always say that vampires originate from Mexico? Like, even in Hollywood movies, they highlight that.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing to say. There is a creature that we talked about on the show, a Huitzotl. Am I saying it correctly? Huitzotl, right? And that creature is weird because there is a name that was given to that's an entity that is a water spirit type vampiric creature, and it was actually given to the name given to one of the emperors of the Aztecs. And the Huitzotl is,
it's like a spiny dog looking.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a picture? Do you have it pulled up? Let me show you guys something. We were talking about the chupacabra. Now look at this. That's why I think Cocopelli and look at this. Look at that. That is an ancient relic picture. Your phone does not do well when you try to put it up on the.
Let me see.
Let me do it on my phone.
And you nailed it too. That's what everybody in Puerto Rico says, Josh. Exactly what you said. That it escaped from military base.
Mm-hmm. And there it is, right there. That is the Huitzotl. So the other day we did a story about that, and it is there was a guy who claimed when he was a child he went to Mexico City, and there was a woman that was into brujeria, and she literally, did this stuff on him. And the Huitzotl was summoned, and I think it was put on him or something, and it needed a vessel. It's a vampiric entity. And that particular entity it's like a hive-minded entity, right? And it can tell you everything that's going on with the other ones. So you gain this knowledge. But that's what the others, when Joel was talking about it to us, about being a true vampire and accepting this demonic attachment to his back, this is where you get the vampire. That's the key right there. When people, they don't understand. Now look at the Cocopelli. Can you pull up a Cocopelli? Pull it up. And then you see, this is what I told Nick Redfern. I said, take a look at this and take a look at the Huitzotl. And then take a look at these others that are attached to these beings. If you pull up the picture, the picture that was drawn and colored, it's like a 500-year-old, what is the word for a picture? Not a reference, not a relief or whatever they call it, whatever the name is, where they call it.
Yeah, the one with that squill-like thing, and it's connected to the guy, and he's speaking through his mouth.
Yeah, it's speaking through his mouth, and it was basically, it was like a parasite on Huitzotl the Emperor, and it was using him to speak and to make policy. And get this, he was one of the first, him and Guatemoc in particular, because they had this high priest that was, his name is lost to time. But through 3 different emperors, he instilled the blood drinking, the bloodletting, and the human sacrifice became exponentially worse. That's not a coincidence. I mean, if you stop and you look and you go, okay, we're so programmed with our minds to just go, okay, we're just going to focus on this, the historical aspect of the human sacrifice. Yeah, but where did it start? Okay. Mesoamericans were doing this for a long time, but it was never, the Incans and the Mayans didn't do it on the scale that the Aztecs did. The Aztecs were doing it like daily, and they had 3 temples going at any given time. And you look at Teotihuacan, and somebody needs to write about this. I guess it's going to have to be me, even though I'm not a good writer. But somebody's going to have to put this down on paper, because why were they afraid of Teotihuacan? It was the refuge of the gods, right? The giants, who taught them about their version of the world. And there was supposedly this god, this archon, who lived on human blood and flesh. And so to go there, the spirits would prey upon you and they would drain your energy. And then you would become like this hungry, kind of like the hungry ghosts of India. You would go out seeking out blood, and that would be the rest of that's your existence. So they have all of these different stories. Did you find the Cocopelli? Yeah, there it is. Now take a look at this dude. Take a look at him. You see the little picture right there? That's Cocopelli. Wow. And then it shows him. There's another relief of him right there. So you sit there and you look at this dude. He looks very similar to Huitzotl, but this is the Mayan version of him. And they say that he's playing a flute, but what's weird about it is you never see him without a flute, but it looks almost like a proboscis. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
See, here's another picture of him where he's doing that.
Yeah.
He's got this thing there, which a lot of people have described as something that will jab out of, it's a tongue. It's like, it looks like a tongue, but it'll jab out of the chupacabra and use it to drink blood, because they find the puncture wounds of animals. Now, when you start getting into this, it starts getting real deep. It gets down that rabbit hole. And I went down that rabbit hole and I started realizing, like, holy crap, dude, this is the same creature. This is the same thing. It just looks a little different from civilization to civilization. There are stories of pale crawlers that soldiers in Germany, that American soldiers stationed in Germany claim to see, but then they see them in Ramadi in Iraq. They see them in Afghanistan. Yep. Korean soldiers, cross-training with American soldiers. I have one that I'm ready to put in for the show for the Koreans. They see this pale crawler. Why is it that in Asia, in Africa, that's another one. When I was studying the leopard man from Botswana, Imilko, one of the guys that I was talking to, Imilko was telling me about this pale crawler creature that was biting people's throats at night, and they thought it was a medicine man. And they said, no, it was sent by this medicine man to do this, to drain the blood, because it was collecting it, then taking it back to this guy who was turning into the leopard man.
Mm.
And I told Imilko, I was like, what in the shit is that? It's like, when you first come across this, you're going like, what is that, dude? Like, brother, what, and it just, you get on these rabbit holes and you're just like, what in the hell is going on with this, dude? And you go so far, it just takes you to another place. And then, I was talking to a guy that worked for us, and he's from the Levant, and he was telling me, the Middle East, he's like, yeah, that's, he was a cab driver at one time in Syria. And he was like, man, it's so prevalent, Told me a weird story about picking someone up and giving them a ride. And of course, the city is being bombed at that time. And, it was in Damascus, and it was just such a war zone. There was all this crap happening. and that's a good place for something like that to hide. And he said when he pulled up, he could have swore that this was a white, pale creature that was on top of a corpse. But then when it stood up, it pushed whatever it was into the alley, and it looked like a woman. And he thought, maybe I'm just seeing things. I'm tired. It's 2 a.m. No, I'm pretty sure that what he was seeing was probably this Naguala, which is like this creature that can appear to be a human, but it's not a human. And then, there's all these different, they line up, and, they're always eating people or drinking blood. So there's something that grows up alongside of us. And it would be foolish to think, well, that's not the same creature, because those creatures all have a little bit of a different, whatever. Yeah, okay. So you have model planes. One's blue, one's red, one's black. It's still the same F-16 model plane. That's what I think. I think that these things have, just like you have black, white, red, yellow, and brown people. We're still humans. They're still part of the human species. This is something. It is a vampire. I'm telling you, it is the vampiric species of itself, and it has grown up alongside us. And they can pretend to be animals, i.e. the chupacabra that looks like a dog. And thank you, Edwin, for coming on, emailed. But yeah, and so then you have the ones that appear to be like humans, but it's still a vampiric entity that's doing what it does. And that is the key right there. And the closer you get to hitting the nail on the head, the more you're going to get messed with, the more stuff is going to happen.
It's interesting because your Indian episode with the tigers and all the, I think it's India, Bangladesh.
I think it was in the area of the Sundarban. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like pretty horrific. I feel terrible for the people who live there. Just horrific.
Yeah, they can kill up to 200 people a year. And the thing is, too, nobody in the West is going to get that. Who's going to be like losing any sleep over some people from India dying? Nobody cares. You're not going to hear about it. It's not going to make the news.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that guy who kept getting the footage of the pale crawler out his screen door in his backyard, and it kept showing up night after night? And he would get it on his laptop, and it has him on the phone talking to his priest.
Mm-hmm.
This is from like 2015, 2016. Yeah, I talked to that guy several times, and he said that thing kept showing up night after night at his house. Sometimes it'd go 2 or 3 days, but it would show up every night, and it would come up to his back patio set, and it would just mess around and just hang out and watch him through the door. And he said that he was filming it, but then the one night it like scared the crap out of him, and he dropped his laptop or whatever it was and smashed it. But yeah, he was being plagued by that thing over and over and over again. And when I talked to him last, he said it was there like within a couple of days of when I had spoken with him the last time. So I don't understand why these things. But I mean, if you look at the stories from like the British Isles, they've been talking about this ghoul-like figure for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same dang creature. I think it is this whatever this pale crawler thing is.
And Darren Mann says, I thought Cocopelli was a Pueblo thing of the Southwest. So let me explain to you that. Technically, the Cocopelli was thought to be of the Pueblo and the Zuni people. That was the original. But there is this creature on these reliefs of the pottery and different things of the Mayans that look like the Cocopelli, but it's not. There's not really a name for it. But it looks like it, and it's got the little weird looking things coming off of it like spines.
Yeah.
And it's got a proboscis, and sometimes it's holding it, and then it shows it like it's like attacking things. It's really weird. So let's look it up here. Let's see what it says. Let's do the AI overview. Hold on, let me type this in real quick.
I think these things are a type of fallen angel myself.
Yeah, they're descended from them for sure. And
Yeah.
how many civilization layers do we have under the earth or whatever? Diego, welcome to the show. So I didn't.
Like I think
acknowledge
the
you.
reptilians are seraphim fallen angels myself.
Yes,
There are species of them for sure.
that's what I listened to recently in a show. One guy suggested, and he has some really interesting stuff. He's with James Bartley, and he says, so you have the seraphim, what really sound like dragons, and they took part of the DNA, which they did a violation of divine law. They took some of the DNA for themselves because they wanted some of that power, and that's where we get the Draco and then the reptilians. So it kind of all adds up that this genetic manipulation and stealing DNA has been going on for an extremely long time. So yeah, I think Dick Richard, I agree with you. I think that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah, buddy. I think so too. And you think there's enough women out there that would mate with these things willingly. I don't think they even have to.
I don't think that's a question. Here it says some scholars theorize his humpback Cocopelli may have been inspired by Aztec traders known as Pocteca, who traveled with sacks on their backs and used flutes to signal their arrival. I don't know why they would use flutes, but whatever.
Yeah, that's the worldly explanation.
Yeah. Over time, the image of Cocopelli has evolved in modern depictions, and it says here is, I'm not going to say what it says there because it talks about something. It says he is also seen as a mischievous trickster, bringing good fortune, but sometimes causing misfortune. And his flute playing connects him to music and merriment. He is sometimes seen as a traveling storyteller or minstrel. It is strongly associated with fertility, both in terms of human conception and the growth of crops. His hump is often thought to be a bag of. I don't believe that. See, and this is the thing. I don't believe that because I think it's very connected to the Mayan creature that looks like a chupacabra. And over time, though, too, I think a lot of times, I know this is going to sound far out there, and I can't prove that, but I think that the further we go down with this Mandela effect, too, things change.
Oh, yeah.
To try to keep you from figuring things out. Only the fool will sit there and say, oh, that's not true, you know.
Yeah.
And some people are so blinded by hatred for me that they're not going to learn. They just refuse to learn any damn thing. Because this to them isn't about learning anyway. It's about grifting and lying and frauding and being a petulant child.
Have you noticed things being written out of existence with the Mandela effect?
Oh, yeah.
Like items?
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm asking you. Have you noticed, like, has anything ever happened to you? Because I've had several things disappear, like, completely.
Yeah. I mean, I could get into a couple examples.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Like my left socks.
I think that's everybody's left socks there.
Becky, show up or no?
I mean, Pan used to play it. It seems like a very Pan-like figure too,
Pan
but
flute,
it's not
yeah.
not goat-like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Pan was that fertility guy that would bring you good luck and play the flute and dance
Yeah.
around and no doubt drink your blood too if he could.
Yeah, probably.
Like he comes from the line of Esau, and Esau had married one of the daughters of Elon, and that they became the what tribe is it? Come on, brain. Anyway, it's whatever the satyrs, the ones that
Satyrs,
yeah, that worship the satyrs. But yeah, they were known for their blood drinking. So the Amalekites, and they became the Amalekites, and the word Amalekite means the people who are vampire-like demons. So why would they be called vampires if they didn't drink blood?
So yeah, exactly. The underworld for the Mayans was a land called Xibalba with an X. I know a lot of people have heard of this. Of course, you have the twins and the Popol Vuh. There's the hero twins that encountered Chemazats. And Chemazats bites off one of them's head and drinks his blood. It's pretty brutal. But if you look at Chemazats and you look at what he does, he plays the role of the Chupacabra. That's who that is. I didn't mean Cocopelli. Cocopelli is the southwestern one. But Chemazats is often seen with his tongue coming out because he's a vampire bat. Look at the nose, the upturned nose and the ears. He's a cave-dwelling giant man bat. Okay, he's Chemazotz, right? The name Chemazotz, it comes from two different things. It comes from the Mayan word quiche, which means death, and then Sots, which is bat. So yeah. So you have this weird creature that drinks blood and unalives people. But I do believe that the Cocopelli, even though it is Zuni and Pueblo, supposedly there was trading that was done between the Mayans and the Aztecs, and then the Aztecs and them. I mean, there's a lot of archaeological evidence supports that. But then again, they want you to believe that none of these civilizations knew each other existed, and all this was just a coincidence. And I'm like, bullshit. If that's the case, then amazingly, they all had the same bad guys. Amazingly. Let's take the He-Man characters, the Master of the Universe. Each of them had their own version of Trapjaw. It's like they didn't know each other. They didn't know each other existed, but yet they all knew this guy. Well, then, if that's the case, that's even more evidence that these creatures existed. Probably on a spiritual level or something underground. I mean, there's something to it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't believe that Cocopelli was just running around playing a flute and that was just a depiction of some people making merriment, because every single picture he's holding that thing on his mouth or whatever. And some of the pictures of these beings show them doing things to other animals. So what, they're playing the flute for animals? I don't believe that. And then you don't see those pictures unless you use certain other tools at your disposal. That's the case. I mean, that's the thing. Because there's so many people go, I Googled that and I didn't find shit. That's because you Googled it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Try something else. And that they don't even know other things exist because they live in this land of bullshittery that's controlled by a bunch of deviants who want everybody to be transsexual. And people say, well, that's not a nice thing to say, really, because if you look at the people who control this world, and I'm not going to say who they are again, please don't even allude to it, but they have an end game. And I'm going to tell you this. I mean, you may think I'm out of my damn mind, but I promise you, if you keep listening to the show, you'll figure it out. Their end game is that everyone needs to become Adamic. What I mean by that is the first man, according to these Chosenbergs, the first man was Adam, right? But he wasn't a man, according to them.
Yeah, Mrs. Danoon laid it out, didn't she?
He was an androgynous being. Think about that. All of this stuff they're doing, trying to force this non-gender specific, all that stuff. You don't think that it's because they feel it, they know it, that it's getting closer and closer, and they're closer and closer to closing everybody down. Either through the alternate religion, I believe, that they created to destroy Christianity, or through communism. And either way, they're going to win. They always play both sides. And then the end game is this Adamic creature. Because before Lilith and before Eve, Adam was alone, and he was an androgynous being. And that is to basically redefine what humanity is. And that's what these people want at the highest levels. You think I'm joking? I'm not. I promise you. What's crazy about it, I know, and we're jumping around maybe 4 or 5 levels from where we probably should be, but I can't help but tell you to do your own research, folks, because I don't know how much time I got. I don't. Because these people are pushing us and pushing us and pushing us, and I have a lot to do. And of course, I have to fight these people because this is their vanguard, to stop us. And to stop us from teaching, and to stop us from helping you. Not everybody in this community wants to be united. You know what they want? They want money. They want to sit in their own little pocket and peddle their bullshit. That's what they want. Whether it's cryptid, UFO, or ghost, or whatever, they don't want it all to be connected, because then it hurts them, because they're behind the curve. We're not. One of the things that these people believe is that to perfect and repair mankind, we have to go back to the man's original state. And that is the Adam, who was not a man or a woman. He was both. I'm not even joking. Do your own research.
Their Ein Sof is also an androgynous being.
Yeah, and then you enter Baphomet, Look at it. I mean, that would be like 4th, 5th, or 6th generation from Rimfan, but still.
Yeah.
The problem, too, is that these people don't believe, or they don't understand, because they're given a book this big with not all of the facts, with not everything in there. Same thing with the Quran, and same thing with all these other books. There's only limited information, and nobody goes outside of it because, you might learn something. These beings, they breed. Like the one most glaring reference, there's a lot of them, but I mean, there's one that I could just point to when Solomon confronts Beelzebub, and he says, "I have a son." Yeah, well, how does he have a son? You don't think they procreate? They do. It was said that Lilith procreated, and she created because she was androgynous. And then
Lucifer is the son of Shahar, the fallen angel.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at these beings, they can interbreed, and then they can breed with themselves, even creating like, and it's not that hard to understand. An asexual being reproduces itself.
Yeah.
And if they are a parasite, and you look at a parasite under a microscope, well, what is that? It's the quantum version of this, And
that's just interbreeding, let alone genetic manipulation, all that stuff. That really opens up even further the craziness.
And speeding it up too.
Yeah.
They are speeding it up. That's what the collider is for. That's what the whole CERN is for. That's why it is let's remind you, in Switzerland, in Geneva, Switzerland. And what does Jesus say? My servant who was killed in the seat of Satan, Antipas, he was killed. Where was Antipas killed? In Geneva. Where is this thing
Temple
located?
of Apollo.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, same demons, just different vessels, different things. And these people who are running around screaming, hooping, and hollering, they're doing everything they can to be disruptive of PRT. Why are they so hyper fixated on us? Why? Because they're being told by their whatever.
Yeah, you're cracking the matrix. That's why.
Mm-hmm. So the antibodies are running and attacking us every way they can. And you can't convince them that they're wrong, because they're programmed to be shitheads. They don't understand. They don't understand it. They're foolish people. But when their vessel is barely functioning is nothing more than a hollow shell, what do you expect? I mean, the people, the soul that was there is vacant.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Zero,
can't do
zero inner monologue saying maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So if you were to look up, so I typed in vampire connection Mayan. It says here, the vampire connection to the Mayan through the deity Chemizats, a monstrous death bat from the Popol Vuh. Well, not traditionally a vampire. Chemizats associated with blood and death. See, that's a problem. We have this tradition of what we believe a vampire is or should be. And then it says here, the name comes from, here it is right here. Kame, Kiche, Mayan word, Kame, which means death, Kiche. And Sats, bat, death bat. And then the Popol Vuh, the hero twins encountered Chemizats, a house of bats in the underworld, Xibalba. Yeah, see? And then it says here, the bat god monster is known for his terrifying strength and is even responsible for beheading one of the hero twins in the myth. While Chemizats is not explicitly a human turned undead like European vampires, his mythology is heavily linked to blood and blood drinking. The Maya had blood-letting rituals, seeing blood as the essence of life and power, which may have contributed to a narrative around blood-drinking deities. Same thing with the Aztecs and Huitzilopochtli. And then it says here today, Kamazaz obviously is a mythical precursor to the vampire. It has been interpreted in modern culture sometimes as blood drinking monsters seen in the Dusk Till Dawn movies. So there you go. Why do they say it came from Mexico? But you know what's funny is that the ziggurats didn't originate in Mexico. The ziggurats are found in Cambodia. They're found in Thailand. They're found in India. And the Mayans' DNA close relative is one of the provinces in India. So you look at all of this. They'll say it, they'll blurt it out because some scientist will figure it out. And it'll come out in Smithsonian, it'll come out in Mental Floss, it'll come out in Discover Magazine or Scientific American, right? And then it'll disappear.
Yeah.
And you won't hear about it again. And it's easy for them to make it disappear in this digital shit world that they've put us in, right?
Yeah.
Because now we're moving further into the matrix. Folks, the worst thing we could have ever done was stop having paper.
Yeah.
I got magazines up until about 2 years ago, and then they said, we're switching them all to digital. I was like, well, I'll decline. Thank you. I'm not going to read Men's Health and Discover Magazine on my phone so that you can change it at your will when the AI gods decide to do something different because you don't want us to have knowledge. That's the problem. Because these people that figured out that Fruit of the Loom and all these other companies, B&W, whatever, they were all full of shit. They found it out because they had actual hard copies of pictures of things. Because you're not going to get them on your phone. And the point is, look at what happened to me and my several colleagues whose pictures were taken off of our computers and off of our phones. That was the first real lesson when I learned how. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. They could just take it right off of your shit. And then it's like it never happened. It never happened. You can have several people of high caliber, people that people trust and know that they're not lying. And they can all say, hey, this really happened. They can back me up 100%. But all it takes is a handful of rabble to convince other people with their rotten fruit that you're a liar and that you will say things that aren't true. And then they go on their quest for lying, their lying quest to try to make you and discredit you. And the next thing you know, the idea gets in their head. Oh, well, Josh Turner said it. There's people that say he's lying. They say it on Reddit. They say it on these platforms. There's a handful of fuckers that go and say that I'm lying. So that's all you got to do. Then they discredit you. Then you have people who won't listen to you because when your name pops up, you're some kind of apostate or heretic or whatever the hell these people say. And they damage everything, all the knowledge that you're trying to get people to learn. And they say stupid things like you're over there trying to teach people witchcraft and all this other bullshit. And that gets into people's heads. Not everybody, but all it takes is one bad apple that can spoil a whole bag of them. Just recently, I saw an example of that. I bought some Gala apples, and one of them went bad. One. You could see it was just one, but there were 5 or 6 around it that were all starting to go bad. And you were like, wow, that's all it takes is one shitty piece of fruit from one of these dickheads. And it can infect multiple people. And then those are people who don't learn. They don't get the knowledge. They don't get what they need to be able to decipher and to understand and to learn these things. And they won't come and listen to you. Every day, these people, they say silly, stupid, damn garbage. And then there's some people there going, yeah, that's why I couldn't listen to them. Yeah, you're right. I want to be stupid as shit. I might as well just say just type it out. I just want to be dumb as hell and believe you. You're right with your nonsense. Thank you for disrupting the class and sending a bunch of people to places where they shouldn't be.
It's hard. It's hard to walk down the street knowing all this stuff, and you see everyone, and you can't talk to this stuff to anybody. Nobody wants to learn. Everyone's focused on the latest sports game or going out down the street to drink and have fun. It's shocking. I feel alien almost sometimes to the people around me.
Yep.
And they can tell you the names of the latest booty dancing song or they can give you the scores to their latest Eagles game or whatever the hell, or 49ers game. But they don't know shit about what you're talking about. And I can tell you the sports thing too, but most people can't do all of it. So if you can't, then you need to make a decision, and those people inevitably will choose the distraction. Let me put it to you this way: this is like a classroom. This is like class, right? So this is the fun class. This is the class you're actually going to learn something, right? But it's still class. If you want to learn this kind of stuff, you really don't have room for all the other garbage. Look at the football, basketball scores as recess. Recess is not important, other than it is important to play a little bit and work and, no play, dull boy, whatever. So that is the recess. That should be a very small part of your life. That should be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm kind of there. Maybe I'll take time out on a Sunday to watch a little bit of a game or something. Maybe not. I didn't watch shit yesterday and didn't the week before. But every now and then I will. But it's not the most all-encompassing thing of my life. And if my team wins, great. If they lose, so what? My life doesn't change. It's not going to make my bills go away. It's not going to make me a bunch of money because I'm not a heavy gambler at that. So I'm not. Bless you.
It's like someone made the comment right about Sun. I showed the video from Sun they had, and it is the most bizarre thing for science committee. They're doing this dance scene and this ritual, all this weird, crazy, absolute, just bonkers stuff. I show it to family, to other people, and the eyes just kind of glaze over, and they go, "Oh, whatever, they're just doing their thing." Like, no one even thinks like this is alarming. They're not doing science.
They're not asking why these high-ranking, why the Pope and Obama and everybody else was there.
Yeah,
they're not asking these questions. They don't care. They're not like, why is the president of Switzerland? They don't care, and
they don't.
You can't tell people like what this is, and when you tell them, well, these people are vampires, they're like, huh? They're thinking like a vampire from TV, some kind of movie, and they don't really understand. They don't get it. They don't. And they don't understand what this has to do with their reality, which is not the real reality. And you can't blame them, really, because they've been so dumbed down. And then on top of it, when someone starts talking about it and putting the pieces together, then they get attacked constantly by a pack of lunatics that sit there and say that everything I say is wrong and that I'm a heretic and whatever the F else, So the main people you need to learn this stuff, you need to teach, they're having doubt and being attacked too.
Remember though, the flak is always heaviest over the target, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hope that brings some clarity to some people, and some people figure it out. I hope you guys learn something, and take that with you, because eventually it's all going to come out that there's going to be more and more. We're gonna learn about this. Take a look at that. What I said though about their end game. People don't realize that. They don't realize what's happening here. When they're already even to that stage where they're even talking about that means that they can feel it, that they're getting closer to their goal, which is to establish a one world government, one world religion. And it is a group of people who aren't into Christ. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And that is to take him out of everything. Christmas is just one of the first things they're going to do. I mean, it's not even. And eventually his name won't even be allowed to be spoken. You know why? Because his name has a lot of power. And even these so-called Christians they're blind, and they are literally going along with this ridiculousness, and they will fight you and attack you vehemently. Look at the dark crystal as an example.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
It's an analogy, yeah. And the Skeksis using the Gelflings until the Gelflings are almost all gone. They used them as slaves, and they would protect these Skeksis. They protected them with their lives. Meanwhile, they were being drained of all their essence, all their blood. Why do you think there wasn't a next season?
Hmm.
So many people were making the connection. They were like, yeah, look at the big.
Why do you think
beak."
they off Jim Henson?
Yeah, well, things had some pretty big beaks,
Yeah.
and you're going like, wow, that's it's just kind of right there, isn't it? It's just kind of right there. And then the Gelflings are the dumbasses. They're the Christians that support all. They're supporting their own destruction.
Yeah.
And when one of you wakes up and starts trying to tell the other Gelflings, what do? They grab you and take you and turn you into the Skeksis. And the Skeksis is like, you betrayed us. Oh, good thing your own people turned you in. Yes, bad Christian. You don't love us, the Chosenbergs. Of course not. You should. You should worship us. Yeah, and that's the problem, isn't it? And then the other little dumbasses sit there, but your turn's going to come too. Yeah, because you have what they want, which is a life force that they want. They're vampires. And each one of them, supposedly, when they end up taking over the world, they're all going to get 1,000 of us to be as their slaves. Because we're not even really human to them, supposedly.
Do they not have the 1,000 slaves already?
Yeah, but I'm talking like personally. They want everything. Look at that interview with one of them where he says that, we got to do what we do, and we're feeding your own children and, and all that. Yeah, look at what they say. Look at what he taught. He brags about it.
Why do you
And
think
people
sausage?
are so stupid that they sit there and they go, oh, well, I looked it up. It said that's fake. The computer said. I had people do that when I put it on my Facebook. They reported me, and then they went and said, that's fake. I look it up, and they said that's fake, and that computer said.
Yeah, but did they listen to the interview?
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, there was nothing
Why would
fake
they do
about that.
It was just him bragging about what they do.
It was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And these same people, they think, we're going to rule over everything. They're just being used by these other higher entities, and they'll be discarded as soon as they're no longer of use. And they're so blind to that.
Yeah, they themselves are vessels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay to be on that team, but but look at the dumbasses that are doing what they're doing, rioting about PRT. They're lower level entities themselves, just being used by higher predators. And they'll be discarded when it's over. They don't care. They'll just find another vessel to trick and manipulate and turn into, whatever. That's what they do. And the war will never end. You'll always be fighting some sort of piece of shit,
Yeah, the tares are meant to choke out the wheat.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally there to screw with you at every possible opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And they outnumber us apparently 10-1 or 9-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is.
Because if you look at the numbers, I used to think that the whole Kali Yuga may or may not be real. I know it is now because it says in the time of the Kali Yuga that only 25% of people will be good.
Will be what? Sorry?
There'll only be 25% of morality left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the world is evil. I mean, big time. So anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to PRT. We will be back Wednesday. Now, tomorrow night, we're not going to be on, but we're going to be back Wednesday for the live stream. And then Thursday, we will have it's a Patreon.
Yeah.
The Patreon episode. So every Thursday, and then next Thursday will be the members only. The next week's Patreon, and then the week after is members only too. So I'm planning on even having a show for Thanksgiving because everybody's tired and had their Thanksgiving meal, but after that, what are we doing? You got to do something, right? Football only goes on. So, I think they have 3 games this Thanksgiving. I do watch football on Thanksgiving because I'm, if I'm not working because I'm tired and there's nothing else to do. You just kind of laying there going like, man.
Football's fun, but it's boy fodder in the end.
Doesn't matter, it's just bragging rights.
I know.
But sports, though, is one of the mediums that they use because they don't want certain people having too much, I do believe Texas is one of the places that they target because There's too much national pride. Oops, did I say national? It's supposed to be state pride.
Yep.
You know, exactly. So there it is.
That's why you guys have been targeted so hard.
Oh yeah, they've been all over us. You got to have a strong governor to keep them off you.
It's funny. It's like Alberta up here. Will
Yeah,
kind
you
of
gotta have
face
a governor that can stand up for you.
Well, back in what was it, 2010? When was it that Obama threatened to no-fly us and attack us? He threatened us because our governor at that time, I think it was Rick Perry, was entertaining the vote of secession. And they said if we do that, they were going to militarily, they were going to put a no-fly zone over us, and they were going to. He just basically Obama threatened us.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy. It's funny. Canada, we actually legally can secede if we vote for a province and actually win the vote. Now, if they would allow that, but legally in law will actually allow, we're the only country in the world, I think, that actually can do that.
Well, no, Texas is actually legally supposed to be able to too. When Texas became a state, that was part of the deal that we could secede. But they said something about we were supposed to be able to secede. But then they said if we do, we have to be broken up into 4 different provinces, and they all have to agree or something like that. I didn't know that because I read Texas history. I never saw that, and I've been to Washington on the Brazos, and I didn't see anything in there. I read that whole document. They'll let you, at least I don't know if they do, they used to, but you could take it out, not the actual real, but they'll give you a copy of it. You could read it. And I sat there for like 2.5 hours and read the whole thing. I went there when I was young, and I went back when I was in my early 20s just to see what it said and to make sure. And I read it. Now, this is back before the Mandela effect did all the bullshit, you know. So who knows what it says now, but that's what I read. And I read that, and I was like, there was nothing in there about having to turn into 4 different provinces. But when we talked about doing it, I think it was 2010. I want to say it was 2010. I'm not 100%. Let me see. I think it was 2010 or 2011. And Obama came out there and he's like, let me tell you something. I was talking to Michael and we decided, no, we're going to blow you up. So that was it.
Well, Canada's already had a secessionist movement. Is Quebec not a nation inside of a nation?
Yeah.
Nation inside of a nation.
They're actually at it again right now, too. They're trying to legally make it so they can run their own stuff without Ottawa. So Canada's the next Yugoslavia. It's going to fracture apart at the direction it's headed.
It needs to. It's funny. I remember on my timeline, Calgary was the capital of Canada.
On your timeline, what? Sorry.
On my timeline, Calgary was the capital of Canada. Mm-hmm. I remember that. Ottawa was not the capital. When I remember hearing about Ottawa just a few years ago, I'm like, what? This is not correct.
Really? So that's just near me. Calgary's near me. I don't ever remember it being. It's always been Ottawa. So that's
because you guys are right there at it. It seems like wherever the Mandela effect is ground zero, the people around it don't have a memory of it. And the same goes for us. I mean, what's weird about that is I even remember like on The Sopranos when that stupid kid, Jackie Aprile, I remember him, like his dad was like, oh, you know, my son, tell him what's the capital of Canada. He's like, Calgary, just because he knew that. And now when he plays like Ottawa or whatever, you're like, what? You know, you see these movies and you'll see these like, you know, there was a song too by a band called Exodus. I remember I was thinking about this the other day, and it was talking about Fabulous Disaster. The album is a song by that same name, and it says the time is near. How does it go? It says when some madman will finally pull the plug. It's talking about somebody's going to hit the button. And now it says some lunatic. And I'm like, it doesn't even jibe with the doesn't even work. Like, you're like, what? Like when you're listening to this song, it was like it flowed, you know. It says something about a madman will finally pull the plug. And now it says some lunatic. And you're like, what? Because madman is 2 syllables and lunatic is 3 syllables. So it totally throws off the cadence of the song. And you're going like, what the hell? And so a couple of my old friends, one of them, he lives up in Fort Worth. I called him and I said, dude, play. Do you have that? We used to play it when we were young. We used to love that album. And so he goes to play it and he goes, wait, he rewound it about 3 times, you know, on this CD. He kept going back. And he was like, what the hell? I said, yeah, I told you. And this was like several years ago when I noticed that one, probably 10 years now. But that one was pretty obvious to me. Like that was a very obvious one. And it was, yeah, that was that fabulous disaster. And I thought, this is not correct. But there's a lot of stuff like that. You'll listen to lyrics, you'll go back and watch a show or a movie, and you'll hear them talking, narrating, and you're like, what? And the words have changed. And that has happened a lot. Anthony, you talk about that one on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, that old Eddie Cantor song.
Yeah, that Eddie Cantor song. It just because he says the dumb ones know how to have fun, or what is it?
Yeah. Originally, he said the dumber they are, the better I like them. Because because the dumb ones know how to have fun.
Now it's like they know how to make love. Right?
Yeah, which it doesn't make sense, especially for the like that song was like in the 1920s. Like that wouldn't fly back then to say that the dumb ones know how to make love.
Mm-mm.
And that's not what it was. I remember it because that song was so obnoxious and terrible. It just stuck in my head.
I've seen dates too, and things change too in history. You'll look at things and you'll be like, "What?"
The Battle of Kiev, man. The Battle of Kiev. There was 660,000 Soviets taken. They were tank armies, and at 49-1, 49 soldiers to one tank, it should be 14,000 tanks, and it always was. Growing up, I studied that battle time and time again. And I don't even know, it's changed 6 or 7 times. Every time I look it up, it's changed again, the number of Soviet tanks that they took in that pincer movement.
And then if you look at the Operation Barbarossa, the largest land invasion in history, and then I remember them saying during the Gulf War that it was the largest mobilization.
No, that's nonsense.
Yeah, I remember because when we went into Iraq in 2003, and then I was like looking at the troop mobilization and I was like, that's not correct. But they blatantly lied and said it was on CNN. And I was like, these people don't know history or they just don't give a shit. They just lie.
CNN.
Yeah, the Communist News Network. They'll tell you. We're here to tell you. Here's Don Lemon. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Once again, Trump bad things bad. The bad is always the bad. The trumpet, the bad, and the bad, then the bad, and the bad. And now one good thing: a person with blue hair and a thing in their nose is protesting the evil king. Now to you.
Don't mention Soros.
Yeah. Soros is like the one person that they're allowed to say things about. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's probably not the be all end all, or they wouldn't be talking about him. The people that are really in charge, you're not able to talk about those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we don't even know their names.
Nah, you won't.
No, these people are the figureheads. It's the sleight of hand. It's the look over there at this guy while we're the ones really doing it.
Yeah, he takes it for the team. He takes it for the chosen
Absolutely.
birds. He's their guy.
Klaus Schwab, all those people. Yeah, they're not the real bad guys.
They're not the real ones. These other ones are Rothschilds with elongated heads and that drink children's blood. That's what they do. But anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys. Thank you for jumping on. I don't know what was going on, dude. It was weird. People were trying to get in and they kept getting kicked out. And I don't. We finally got it to work, but I guess enough people just said to hell with it.
I'm sure there'll be a lot more of that.
Thank you to people that donated. And and if you won something, go to giveaways at prtpodcast.com. What time is it? It's midnight. Okay, so
I just wanted to comment on AB's what he said here. Yeah, look up the one where the lady finds the tooth and the chicken nugget for her daughter and tell me she's acting. Tell me she's not
I remember at
100%.
one point there was like 21 different places here. This was like 20, 30 years ago that they had found human DNA in McCraps, McCrapples. And now it's like tons and tons of places. That's because that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Over 1 billion served.
Yeah, I'm sure. It is what it is. Says I want to win a sweatshirt, please. Have you won before? If you haven't, then I'll throw you one. But let me know quickly here because I have to go. Gotta go to work. He said she won once. We never got anything. It was out of my size. Well, send me what you have, your information, and we'll see if we have it. Okay. And if we have it, we'll send it to you. The Redstone Club, yeah, or the Red Shoe Club. I mean, yeah. Sure. I know. The big red shoes. People know what that is. You know what the red shoes are? Look it up. I don't know. You got to.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You
Exactly.
got to go to certain places to look it up, but they'll tell you.
Look up the origin of Ronald McDonald too.
Yeah. There's a reason for it. Okay, guys. I got to run. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, Josh.
God bless y'all.
Good night.
Good.